What's going on, everybody? And welcome to the Film Cave episode number 46. It's your boy Knight.
What's up, everybody? Logan here. This is a good one. We didn't expect it to be this good, but it was a good one.
Yes, it's a very good one. It's going to be quite an interesting show, to say the least. Again, we want to thank you guys for joining. And those of you watching here live or playback or whichever form or outlet you are watching on, we thank you for joining us this evening. Be sure to hit that subscribe button or follow, depending wherever the hell you're watching on. We'd also appreciate it. It's the easiest way, simplest way, and better yet, the cheapest way, because it costs nothing to support the channel. We appreciate
That's correct.
every bit of it. Hit that thumbs up, hit the notification bell to be reminded when our purr faces pop up again. And yeah, join us for the fun, man. We got a lot of show. It's fun to get into it with you guys. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of people in the comment sections. It's going to have a lot to say.
Yeah, this is
if we got a good turnout, we'll see.
Yeah.
Who I got to put my bifocals on? I'm blind. Good Lord. My vision has gotten worse.
Really?
Yes. So I'm like, it just comes with age. I'm guessing it's just I'm getting messed up here. So I don't know.
Old man.
Let me take this background out. Yes, absolutely. All right, brothers. What's been going on with you, man? How's life before we jump into everything?
I mean, to be honest, life's been pretty crazy here just in the last little bit. Like all of a sudden today, like I spent all my money to buy a lot to eventually build on in like years from now, probably.
Oh, okay.
And then all of a sudden now my car needs to be in the shop. And I was like, I don't have the money. So that's been really nice to like freak out on. But yeah, I mean, life is life. You just gotta, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. But what about you?
That's what they say.
Yeah.
It's all right, man. I can't complain. Well, I can complain, actually.
We all can complain.
Right. Who would listen, right? So as you see, I still have no damn setup. This week was supposed to be the week I got everything. The universe just does not want me to have a fucking couch. I don't know what it is, who I pissed off, but it's like it was supposed to get everything yesterday.
Yeah.
And I had a couch and a table being sent to me. I'm like, oh, yeah, here we go. I can finally do everything. Boom, boom, boom. Like 20 minutes before the delivery person comes on, he's like, yeah, man, I'm here about to show up. Yeah, just letting you know they canceled your couch, so I just got the table. I was like,
are you fucking kidding me?
I would
like, be so
what
mad.
What are you talking about, bro? I was hot. I was like, what do you mean they canceled my couch? Where is it? It's like, oh, I couldn't fit in the truck. It's sitting in the warehouse, so they're supposed to call you in the morning to let you know. Why would you call me in the fucking morning about something that's supposed to be like? Give me a heads up. Why are you telling me now?
Why do you have something that can't fit on your trucks available to purchase? How about?
I'm like, what? And it's IKEA. It gets broken down in boxes. It's like,
right.
What's the issue? So I got my table. I don't have a couch. I won't have a couch until next Monday, apparently, because that's also my only damn day off. So I'm just like, oh my God. I'm like, why? Like, did I shit on like a couch god? Like, what happened? Like, I don't get it. So I don't know. I was all happy and everything, but now it's all to hell.
It's kind of funny. I have something similar to that. I've talked about it a little bit on here before, but nowhere near as bad as I don't have a couch. Like, I do have a couch, but one thing that's funny is, I've had this incredible monitor ordered for forever, like over 2 years. And it was original release that was December of last year, but COVID happened, all that. So I understood that, but they've pushed and pushed and pushed. And then I was supposed to get it between September 30th and October 6th. That obviously came and went. And then they're like, oh, hey, sorry, our boat is just stuck in the harbor off California. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And then I got an email today. I got hyped. I was like looking at it because I'm like, must be coming this way. And it's like a girl from that company, and she's like, hey, just wanted to let you know, like, super excited. We got some news. She's like, we have a date for when we're allowed to dock. And I was like, what do you mean you have a date? Like,
Right.
get on shore. And it's November 9th. I'm like, you gotta be shitting me right now. Like,
Jesus.
what are they just bringing
Yeah.
boats out to continue to give this boat fuel? Like,
Well, I'm like,
I-
is it
how
just
are
sitting
you
in the middle of the ocean?
Yeah, like, I don't understand at all. But my poor monitors out there just probably getting ruined by something, with my
That
luck. My specific one
sounds
is just
horrible
in a
and
terrible
fishy.
situation. But yeah, so it literally, she's like, here at the bottom, she gave me, like, it's like, here's the boat name, which is like Owl Night or something, is a weird name. But she's like, we actually have a link to where you can track
What?
the boat. And I'm like, I don't care about tracking the boat. Like, I want to be tracking my box to my house.
Right.
Like, get it on
What kind
land.
of castaway Captain
Uh,
Phillips shit is
it's
this? Get my
absolutely
boat
insane. So,
out.
like, obviously, I would be much more upset if it was my couch. But it's still like, hey, first world problems. Give me my fucking shit, man. Like,
Yeah.
this thing was like $600. So, like,
Jesus. That's a
I'd
lot.
like it if I could go ahead and
Well,
receive that.
shit.
You know?
Same.
Yeah.
So like,
So exactly. It's like,
so same. It's like, I'm surprised my ass isn't riddled with fucking hemorrhoids at this point. I'm sitting on the damn like hardwood floors
I know.
and
Do you have
shit.
like little just donuts?
I have my pillow, and I'm surprised I haven't got pink eye on top of it.
Right,
I've been
because you're
sitting
just
on the
sitting there.
shit
You've
and
just been, yeah, you look
sitting
like
and
you're
farting all on this bitch and laying my head down at night.
fantastic.
Right. Absolutely. So I'm just like, dear God. So I have
Yeah.
no idea what's going on. But anyway, guys, welcome to the show.
I know.
Right. Welcome
Life
to the
updates.
show. Right. We got a good show for you guys tonight. We hope you stick around. Again, we told you all the, all the stuff we love and all that good stuff. So hopefully, thumbs up, bell, subscribe, or follow. And let's get into it, brother.
Let's do it.
We're ready. So, for those of you who do not know, most of you do, me and Logan, a bunch of couple of fucking nerds, like to talk about film. We can do it any and all day. Sometimes we do, but there are moments in other genres and things out there that we also are not equally, but are kind of passionate about and like to talk about.
Sure.
But sometimes the world of film still rears her beautiful face. Can't even call her ugly no more. Into the conversation, because why is that, good sir? Where are they at today? Let's see.
Oh
America.
no, she's jealous as fuck. She's jealous.
The jealous bitch. Got it. Damn. Heard it. I don't think she was ever gonna get out of that title of jealous bitch.
Her
It's
and I
rare.
aren't doing too hot right now. I mean,
Damn. All right, heard it. But this particular segment is called. Oh, what was I going to sing? What was I going to say? I forgot. It's out there in the world. Yeah. Shit. I was going to sing the Dune song. It was like,
oh yeah.
shit. But I was like, wait, how's the shit go? Right. Absolutely. When I first heard this shit, I was like, what? Is Wonder Woman in this shit?
I know. Oh my God. Get me started.
That would be amazing. Okay. So, there's a particular fashion of out there in the world in which we like to, what am I going to say? I blanked. We like to
begin the segment?
go. There was a particular word I was going to use. Damn it.
Yeah.
Whatever. What kind of damn fashion is it, man?
Well, it's usually traditionary fashion that we do whatever word you're trying to figure out
Yeah.
at the beginning of this.
Yeah. that's usually the fashion which we do this. So within that fashion, good sir, what do you have for us, if anything?
Yeah, there's one thing that just came out that's actually confirmed now from the source, and that is Bill Murray is headed to the MCU.
What?
He is in Ant-Man 3, Ant-Man and Wasp, Quantumania.
What?
Yeah, so that's just been confirmed from his mouth.
Oh shit!
And
No, where? Hold
that's
on.
it's a pretty crazy thing. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous because I don't know why he would give a fuck about anything anymore in terms of roles. But
Let's
yeah. So Bill
see.
Murray,
Bill
part of
Murray.
the MCU. Yeah,
Really? I'm trying
if
to
you look
find
that
it,
up,
bitch. I can't.
it's
Yeah.
all over the place. I'm surprised you haven't seen it.
No. Yeah, Bill Murray confirms he's in Ant-Man 3. Holy
Isn't that crazy?
shit buckets. I love it.
He
I wonder who's
fits.
gonna play. He
I
does
know.
fit.
That's the thing. I mean, really and truly, I'm hoping he's just like some really pissed off scientist or something. That's
He's a
just like,
Kang variant.
oh god, just immediately just
Right,
hurting
goes
us.
back and erases Garfield. Um, that's actually pretty dope. I'm
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
really excited for that for Ant-Man
So I mean, there's no
and
telling
weird
what he's gonna do, but
font.
I know. Yeah. Did you see that logo?
Yeah.
What is
I
up with
guess
that?
there's
You
some
can't
moments
read
I
it.
can some moments I can see the mania, the quantum I get lost in.
It's all circles. It's just all circles, and I mean, it's like,
Yeah, but I can see the mania of it at the end. I'm like, okay, I see it
yeah.
like that, but the quantum shit, I'm like,
I
what is happening?
I already saw somebody say like, "Oh, this is Kang's written language," and I'm like, "You're really trying to make this better for me." And I
I mean,
appreciate you trying, but it's
but
because
what
it's
if it is?
possible. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
possible,
here
but it's
for it.
also like there's a reason why we weren't like officially shown that logo yet, and it's probably because they would like explain it a little bit. Like I don't know. Like I see them in a trailer
Mm.
having like somehow having like Kang write those symbols out, and then it changes. It like flashes and it changes them to Quantumania written in English.
Oh,
And
yeah, I'm
so
sure it's gonna
it
do
kind
that.
of just shows you here's what is going on. Like this is what that means, and what, because you can't read that. Like if
Yeah,
you're if you don't know what the title is, you have no idea.
yeah.
So
Ant-Man and
yeah.
the Wasp. Uh,
Oh,
gibberish.
whoa, 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 whoa. Oh man, yeah, it's like a dog barking.
Scooby-Doo's in this? What is this? Well,
Oh no, I'm frozen.
doing circly thingies. Up, we're
There
back.
we go. Welcome back.
All right. Let me take my phone off of Wi-Fi. I don't get. It's just my shitty laptop, bro.
That's all right. Did
It's
you reboot?
yes, I rebooted.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. Yes, I did. Okay. So for mine, we have a little one that literally everybody is another thing outside of Dune that the internet is coming together and just loving is Sir Brendan Fraser is now officially in Batgirl as Firefly. Well, that's what they're saying, but
Sure.
Firefly. Um, and the internet could not be happier. At a very recent time, Brendan Fraser has become like a national treasure in the world of
Correct.
Twitter and the internet. And I'm absolutely here for it because Brendan Fraser is awesome. He always has been, but Hollywood and everything else that he's gone through, it's tends to get to you.
Sure.
So he has a resurgence, and now he's going to be in Batgirl on top of his Doom Patrol, on top of his Walrus movie or whatever the hell he's making, and some other stuff.
Yeah.
So are we going? My question is: are we going to get in shape Brendan Fraser again?
That's
Are we going to get
exactly what I was going to ask.
right? Are we
'Cause
going to get cowboy hat wielding thick Fraser, or is he just going to be a voice like Doom Patrol?
that's more so. I'm thinking he's going to be the face because I don't know much about Firefly, but
Mhm.
I know he has a full body suit and
Yeah.
helmet.
Yeah.
And so I'm guessing he's going to be diabolical as fuck. Say Brendan Fraser, go Brendan Fraser this like crazy, like camp is
Yeah.
what I'm expecting them to want in terms of like be a villain.
Give me bug-eyed Fraser.
And then we'll throw the helmet on, we'll CG and stuntman it up.
Yeah.
Do I want him to get more in shape for it? Yes. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an interesting choice. Because that's immediately my thing is it's like every picture of Firefly, he's not two of me, next to each other in
Right.
size. He's, is not that. So I'm interested
Yeah,
in the
no.
choice. I want to know what they're kind of thinking here. But also, it does kind of make sense to go, if all of a sudden your hero becomes a, for lack of a better term, she's a smaller black woman. And it's like, let's get a giant white guy to be the villain that's just like so masculine and like it's good for like he's just going to be an asshole the whole time. It's like that's real life. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm like it makes sense for the casting. I'm glad they didn't go like I'm glad it wasn't like a black guy as the villain. It's like
Right.
no. We don't need a full black cast. Make the white guy the villain, let him be absolutely horrible so that we can hate him and hopefully he dies. And like it's okay for that. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I mean, they killed Ewan McGregor and we all love him
They
and he
did.
was good. So he
It
was
blew him
the
the
only
fuck
good
up.
thing good in that movie. So I'm expecting something similar here with good old
Right.
Brendan.
I'm excited. Which I'm sure he's gonna knock it out of the park. He's a great fucking actor.
Oh, of course.
So tear it up. If you get fit, obviously we're not gonna get fucking George of the Jungle Mummy fit from
No.
you, but
Golly, when he was George of the Jungle,
that was
Homeboy
insane.
was unreal. He looked like a sculpture.
Yeah, I was like, holy sweet Jesus, good for you.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, so I'm excited for that because him in Doom Patrol is cool, but he's just a voice. That's not him in
Right.
that damn suit.
Right.
So it is what it is. All right, what you got, brother?
The other thing I have is last week this was literally out for delivery, and so I've had this for a week.
Oh, gotcha.
And I posted on Twitter for everyone to see. So if you follow me on
Mhm.
Twitter, you've seen this. But I did receive this monstrosity that is
She's gorgeous.
the story of Marvel Studios. It is 2 books that make that right there, and they are massive, by the way, like massive.
They
And
look
this
huge.
this whole thing, 11 pounds of reading material. And guess
That
what?
is glorious.
I'm not a reader. But also, guess what? Volume 1, I'm already done with. I flew through it. I've never
Damn.
read something so fast in my life.
Oh, that's dope with the Mach
It's
1.
fucking incredible. So that's book 1, and that is book 2.
Oh, that's sexy.
And yes, sir.
From Mach 1 to the Gauntlet.
Yeah, it is absolutely fire. I'm trying to think how far along I am in this. I started this 2 nights ago, and there's my bookmark. So I'm,
Not the bookmark.
almost halfway through. And that bookmark is a paint swatch thing. It's not a book. We didn't have any bookmarks because I don't read. But yeah, I've
Touché.
absolutely loved this. Like, first of all, it's like made me start thinking I might like to read again. Like all of a sudden I'm like, holy shit, do I enjoy reading? Because no, I've always hated it. Literally always hated it. But the stuff I've learned from it is fucking awesome. Also somewhat terrifying in ways.
Let us know in the chat if you want a Logan's reading hour.
I'll just starting today.
Chapter 1.
But also terrifying in the sense of like realizing how much of the MCU has been like luck in terms of it being good is super interesting. But also just the fact of like they have had scripts for Captain Marvel and Black Panther since like 2004. And because Marvel Studios was under Marvel Entertainment in New York from Ike Perlmutter, he was like, no girls and no blacks, like fuck them, and like couldn't do it. And Hela was supposed to be the main villain of Thor 2. He said, fuck that, no women. Like, and you realize you're sitting there going, oh my god, Thor 2 sucked. And like they also had to reshoot the whole third act of Thor 2 after they got Joss Whedon and the Russo brothers to make a pass over the script for it. And it's still bad, but they're like, it is a movie and we're proud of the fact that it's what it is because it was not one. and they're very upfront. That's what's nice is like they don't pull any punches even on themselves, which is cool.
Oh,
But
that's
yeah,
really good.
but I've learned a ton. It's super, super cool. Like one tidbit I learned just recently is like, because Guardians of the Galaxy, phenomenal. I love it to death. I know you don't like it as much, but they were talking about how in the like early screenings for friends and family and test screenings and whatever. Are you frozen again on me? Let me see. You are frozen. I'm not frozen, but you're frozen. Let's see what happens here. Michael B. Jordan for the new Blade. You heard it here. No, I don't think so. Welcome back,
We're
sir.
back. Yes, I'm back.
I
I just keep hearing you, but I can't obviously see shit but circles.
Gotcha. But yeah, so in Guardians of the Galaxy, the test screenings all were terrible scores. People hated the movie for a long time. And they were talking about how a lot of it we expect because the effects weren't done for Root and Rocket. So it's like
Root and Crockett.
but they were saying like we actually had to cut the movie with like the guys in the blue suits walking around, and like that's just what you have to do. But people hated that. But one thing what they were talking about was for the first Guardians, people despised Drax. Everyone did. Everyone hated him. And everyone's trying to figure out why. What's the deal? Like, what did we do wrong? All that. And finally, James Gunn was like, holy shit, I'm an idiot. He's like, all of you know this because I told you. And obviously the actors know it because I told them. He's like, we didn't have the scene where Rocket explains that Drax's people don't understand sarcasm. And so everyone just thought he was an idiot and an asshole. And so they, in reshoots, which every movie they have scheduled, additional photography, and they learned that in the first two movies, and they have planned it ever since to have that just in case. They added the little snippet when they're escaping the prison where Rocket says that, and Drax is like, nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too fast. I'd catch it. And they said as soon as we didn't even have effects in it, but we did a test screening and put that in, Drax's favorite character of the movie for a lot of people. Like all of a sudden it just fixed everything. And it's just crazy to go, oh my God. Because like I don't know how I would have felt or like experienced the movie without that scene, obviously, because I've never seen it that way.
Right.
But it's crazy to realize like that's a 20-second snippet.
Crucial point of
changes a whole movie. And I just like, that's the kind of shit that like I fucking love in this. Like it is really, really cool. So there's tons of them. Where am I at chronologically right now? Doctor Strange is where I'm at the moment, which is also awesome which it's funny because there's stuff that we know, like from behind the scenes stuff, like how they talk about it all. They initially wanted Ben. He said, hey, I'm doing this play, can't do it. But he went to them about Doctor Strange. He wanted the role.
Cumberbatch did.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh crap, we can't do it. They went to Joaquin Phoenix, talked to him for a second, quickly realized that's not going to work. So they went back to Benedict and said, we'll push the fucking movie if you just do it. And he's like, let's do it.
Johnny Depp attached to that too?
Or that is not what they said. I don't remember that. But yeah, so just a ton of cool tidbits. I honestly, like, I cannot recommend this enough if you are a diehard Marvel fan. And also, like, I just love behind the scenes shit. Like, right. I think you would also enjoy this because you're into, like, you want to make movies and things like that. So, like, it's crazy to see what goes on in the behind the scenes. But also, like, I do now know every name of every producer that you're not supposed to know. And they're like, and then they decided to expand the team. And here's Jason Michaels. And you're like, never heard of him. And like, he made 3 movies with us and now he's somewhere else. And it's like, he moved on to better stuff. And it's like, I don't care about that, but also I see why they're doing this. But anyway, they interviewed over 200 people for this book, and like everyone has quotes in it. And what's really dope though is how like they'll be saying something and it's Feige. Like they have done so many interviews with Feige to talk about every single movie. And so he always is there to give tidbits, and it's fucking awesome. So
I
yeah,
love that, man.
I'm loving it. It is definitely worth it. I got it when it was $90. I think it's regularly $135, but I got it for $90.
Wow,
Well worth it. This will definitely be like one of my prized possessions, along with my
that is a steal.
Infinity War and Endgame score on vinyl over there. Yeah,
Son of a
I
bitch.
love it to death. Yeah, I know, I love that so.
I can't wait to get my damn player in here. Oh my god! Once I
That
get
is one
a
problem.
couch and everything else.
I don't have a working record player, but I inherited one from my grandmother who passed, but it doesn't work yet. So we'll figure that out.
Understandable. I was about to vote. She was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" But
I know.
sentiment of I get it. All right, you've been saved there. Christopher Walken as Doctor Strange. That'd be hilarious. It's the Magamoto.
Come to bargain.
Dormammu.
That sounds just like him. Oh my god, that's great.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Dormammu. My guy.
Right, my guy.
Oh my god, Tim Taylor, it is coming, man. Tim the Tool Man. Jesus fuck, in the chat over there.
Right, Tim the Tim the Two-Man Taylor. Calm your ball sacks. We're getting there.
It's the main event, sir. We got to get to it.
Right, patience is a virtue. Don't make me get the fucking gabba jabba jabba shit to your neck. All right, the gum jabbar.
Yeah.
I was trying to be stupid. Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Let's see. What was I gonna say? There's one thing. Oh yes. And the last thing for me, because I don't have much, is the supposed Once Upon a Time Trench spin-off film for Aquaman that we all now found out was secretly a Black Manta film, which was revealed by James Wan recently in a comment post somewhere or whatever the hell. So we could have had a Black Manta solo film, which very much surprises me that it got canceled, because Yaya is like WB royalty right now.
Correct.
So I'm like, that surprises me that they didn't go through with that. Unless James Wan was bullshit and was like, yes, it's a trench. And then when it happened, it's like, oh yeah, so it's Black Manta. They're like, wait, what?
Yeah. Oh,
So
I was gonna
I
put
don't
Black
know.
Manta in that. Yeah.
Right. So what do you think on that?
Now I'm surprised it got completely canceled because of how much they're trying to make HBO Max a success.
Right.
To not either make that a Max exclusive movie or a series is interesting, because Yaya, like you said, it's really for me only Yaya is like, I'm surprised they canceled Yaya.
Right.
For exactly what you said. I can't necessarily say that the Aquaman movie made him something like a character I need to see. I think the sequel will most definitely help, but he was meant to be like the B villain of the first one. I mean, King Orm was fucking King Orm to, Aquaman. So Black Manta was the B, but I'm surprised they canceled it completely. I could see it coming back up, possibly.
At least push back.
But
but
also I could see James Wan being like, well, hey, I don't want to be connected to it anymore. And then they'll fuck it up. So we'll see.
I don't know. We'll see. Sorry, I would have been down for it. I'm like, oh, cool. Been cool to see. But I guess Aquaman 2 is like your time to be like, I'm the main dude. So we'll see. We'll see what's going on. All right. So that's going to do it for Out There in the World. If there's anything that we missed, again, let it be known in the comment sections, below on playback or here during live chat. We always will dedicate time to at the end of the show to go over everything. So be sure you put it there. And let's get on to our main headlines of the evening.
Let's do it.
So before we get to Dune, before Tim jizzes himself, a trailer dropped that I, for one, was very, 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 very skeptical about from the jump,
Jump.
from the get go. And that was Uncharted. Uncharted dropped a trailer this week. Tom Holland and Mark fucking Wahlberg as Sully. Um, it was all right. Like, I honestly didn't feel anything. I was like, okay, cool. I cannot help but see Tom Holland. Like, I don't
Of
see
course.
Nathan. I see just pure Tom Holland. Like, there's nothing at all that speaks Nathan Drake to
Nathan
me
Drake. No.
besides the holster and the white shirt. That is it.
Right.
It sucks because I still see Tom. I honestly still see fucking Peter Parker.
Right.
And it's bad because there were some points in the trailer where it even felt like Spider-Man, like a Spider-Man trailer for me, like the music and like the like scope
The
of it. I was like,
music
oh,
when
he's
it
nowhere.
opens feels
Yeah.
like it's. I was like, right when it hit, I was like, is that Spider-Man theme? I was like, that's terrible.
Right. There was twice I
Um,
thought. I was like,
yeah.
oh, okay. But I just, and Mark Wahlberg as just Sully. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like the last little tidbit was cool, but I'm just not. I'm not in it. I'm not in it. But from you, somebody who's like played the games hard, like you played the
Right.
games and all that. Yeah.
Yes.
What is your take?
So ever since the casting, even to the point of like after the casting of Sully, I'm like, fuck, I can live with Tom Holland as Nathan Drake, but Mark
Right.
Wahlberg as Sully
Yeah.
is the biggest slap in the face
Yeah, it is.
of like, because it's also like there
Yeah.
there is an easy opportunity to get someone of color or of nationality of some sort. No, let's just make sure it's two white guys. And it's funny because it's exactly what you just said. When it comes to Nathan Drake, I see Peter Parker. I don't see Tom Holland because Tom is actually having to do an accent and be American.
Yeah.
So I see Peter Parker when I'm watching that. But then with Mark Wahlberg, it's Mark Wahlberg. He's not
Just
even
Mark
like
Wahlberg.
trying to be Sully.
No voice,
Like-
like, hey kid, like nothing.
No, they're like, hey, just come in here and be like, hey guys, let's go get some treasure. And like it's like
you know your history. Yeah, sure. Yes.
the
I
most trash. Oh my god. But anyway, so what I'll say is, yeah,
Ugh.
I have been massively disappointed in this movie since it was announced.
Yeah.
Because also they started making the movie without Naughty Dog's help.
Yeah.
Like they cut them out.
Mistake number one.
And Naughty Dog, like Neil Druckmann came out and said, like, they have completely shut us out. They won't let us read a script. They won't look at our scripts. They don't care. They have decided to make an Uncharted movie themselves. And then they had to go back and like apologize and try to get the two fan bases to lock it. Nah, fuck that.
That's insane.
But so I will be the first person to say I was going into the trailer expecting to hate it. And so I trashed it. And before I even watched it, I trashed it in my video, watched it, trashed it right after. And I tweeted out and I was like, I don't even know if I should post this because I dogged the fuck out of this. And everybody's like, post it. And so I posted it. I said, fuck it. I posted it anyway. And I can now say, because I got dogged in my comments.
I'm sure.
I even had a guy that was like, he commented and said like ratio, talking about my like to dislike ratio. And I can now say I have 51.2% likes over dislikes. So it has actually ridden up to where more people liked it than disliked it, which I think is hilarious because that guy said ratio. And now people are just going to go like, oh, he was talking about it was good. Like people like this video more. And no, he was on the other side. But the amount of people that are like, oh, he's not supposed to look like or sound like Nathan Drake because this is a prequel. It's like still the same person. Like you got to sell me on the person. Like that's Peter Parker running around, just
with holsters
cool.
and shit.
Like I mean, he's just using guns. Like
it's bad.
Yeah. I'm pissed. Go ahead.
It's yeah. Just get Nathan fucking Fillion. Like, I don't see
See,
what the issue
and no, that's the thing too. I'm not actually for that because I do think he's too old to start an Uncharted franchise by now because
Man, that's
I want
true,
that to
but
go on for 15 years. I just think there are a thousand.
tons. Yeah.
Like, can you imagine if they went out and were like, fuck it, let's cut the check. Let's see what Ryan Gosling's got. And just say, like, let's have him do an action, half comedy, half action, whatever, and let's just let him have fun. And they get an A-list guy come in and do it. I could probably live with that if he was like a fan or like ended up liking it.
Not
Uh,
Gosling, but I see
but
the yeah.
but it's the thing of he's one of a million that it's like they were like, hey, Tom Holland's doing great for us. Let's just get him.
Yeah,
And then
Sony. Yeah.
and then Mark Wahlberg, like perfect. Like what? It's the
So
most
stupid.
it's the most disappointing and like least
It's dumb.
inspired movie I've ever seen.
I would have rather you got fucking Stephen Lang again from The Short to just be like, hey, come back, Sully. Do something.
Yeah.
But not Mark Wahlberg. Oh my god.
It's terrible.
Don't have him like that. You look like an idiot. Oh my god. Mark Wahlberg.
It's absolutely
Yeah, it hurts. And I'm starting to see, and it sucks for me to say this, outside of Spider-Man, I don't really believe Tom kicking ass. Like when I saw him, I'm just like,
when he starts swinging on that rope and shooting guns, I'm like, you're 11.
yeah.
Like, how do you know how to
He
shoot?
looks so little.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not saying you can't, but it's just, he just looks so just like, hey, like
So-
this little, like, I don't know. It's weird.
There's a reason why in his main franchise, he had his first kiss. Peter Parker's first kiss was on screen with MJ. And it's like not weird because it was meant to be. It was like obviously awkward and like earned, but it's like, oh, that's their first kiss because he's a sophomore. And like,
Right.
If they try to give Nathan Drake a love interest in this movie, I'm out. Like, I'm way out. Because, I mean,
it's so weird.
It's rough. And Nathan Drake Jr. is exactly right. He's literally like, oh, my dad actually taught me to go. And it's like, oh, Nathan Fillion.
That would be such an acceptable. That would make the movie just brilliant. I'm like, okay, cool.
But then, like, he's like, Sully? He's like, that ain't Sully.
That's not. It's a distant cousin or some shit. He just took on the moniker. It's all right. It is a real Sully.
But yeah, this Uncharted movie, it really is a thing. Like, I had tons of comments that really preached to me about, like, they're like, Sony just takes IPs, takes names, and makes dog shit movies out of them. And I've been saying that for so long. Like, Men in Black International is dog shit. The two leading cast members are phenomenal. That movie is dog shit. And, just go down the list. And, like, one franchise that was making great money and awesome, 21 Jump Street, they cancel that after 2 movies. Like, what are you doing? Like, so at the end of the day, I was not expecting much. I got nothing. And the plane scene at the end looks terrible. Like, I hate that you can see they're like, oh, it's a video game movie. Video game the shit out of this. It's like, no, make it believable, make me invested, and we can continue this franchise. This is probably a cheap movie to make, so we'll probably get 2 of them. That's probably about it.
Yeah. And it's because that sequence was the only like cool thing like about the trailer, and it still was like, okay,
he falls out twice.
Right. That was one of the things. I know you haven't seen this. That's one of the things that made Tomb Raider so good and cool, the new one, because they have those Uncharted like scope like scenes that the new Tomb Raider game has, and of course that took from Uncharted and all that shit.
Sure.
And it does it really well, and it's really damn cool. So it's like when you actually have the IP that created that shit, that made it like, holy hell, and it looks bad, and the predecessor is like, well, we look much better than this, and we came out years ago. It's kind of bad. Because Tomb Raider did that shit and it was fun as hell. But I don't know. Well, it
I
hurts.
I did see. I just recently posted it, but I saw this thing. Somebody said, after this trailer, they were like, "If there's what is a video game property that you want to see made into a movie or TV series?"
Mm,
And I'm like, "Hey, if HBO knocks The Last of Us out of the park,
right.
give
Fingers
me."
crossed.
I was like, "I want a God of War HBO series. I want it bloody. I want
Yeah.
the budget crazy high. Get a phenomenal actor to do it,
Can
not
you
Dave Bautista."
do that in
Uh,
series though? That big in scale and scope like that?
well, with what the most recent game was, most definitely, because like you
Okay.
could make every episode a different realm that he has to visit while they're on their journey or whatever. So like it could really, lend itself more to a series than a movie because of how much storytelling there is. But
Okay. All right. I'll definitely be down for God of War.
yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean,
Jesus Christ.
be crazy.
Right. All right. So that was Uncharted. So now, let me put myself on. Kind of comments about to go crazy. A main event. Tim, hope you got your dick out. Hope you're ready, buddy. So we are a little independent movie premiered this
Yeah,
weekend.
what was that?
It did. I don't done some shit. I don't know what the fuck it's called.
Dunny?
Dun- Dunk some shit. I don't know what it's called. But Dune finally graced the world, and the internet is going crazy.
Absolutely nuts.
Crazy, 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 crazy. This is full on spoilers. We're deep diving, talking everything. We want to make sure we gave a big chunk of the show to this movie because it is worth it and it needs to be talked about. So, you saw Dune, sir. Before we get into everything, what did you think? Let's talk about it.
All right. So Dune, I can honestly say from the jump, like
Mm,
first time I watched it, I was like, okay, this is my shit. Definitely into this world, but it wasn't the greatest thing I'd ever seen necessarily, but I was like, awesome universe to be brand new thrown into.
right.
Second time I saw it, I was like, oh wow, this thing's like, I'm really digging this. Like now that because that's one thing that it's funny because Kenya King over here, I learned something interesting about him, and that's if he loves a movie, he watches it one time. And it's because he doesn't want to find things wrong with it. So like he's seen Infinity War
Mm.
once. And I'm like, bro, I've seen that 27 times. But anyway, but so
Right.
like on second viewing, I was like, oh wow, like I really think I'm into this. And like I'm going home and I'm watching other people's videos on it because they've seen it. And so I've now seen it 3 times. On the third time, saw it Sunday night, took him to see it. He hadn't seen it yet. He was talking shit to you on Twitter that day. I thought he'd
Oh,
seen it.
I
And
mean, it's can do you expect anything different?
and I was like, "Hey man," I was like, "You want to go see Dune?" He's like, "Yeah, let's do it." And he was like, "I know nothing. I'm going in blind." I was like, "Wait, what?" So like my third viewing, it's his first. It was awesome. But yeah, at the end of that,
Typical
because I
Kenya
know
fashion.
because you had a different experience, but also I will be the first person to say to your defense, I have enjoyed it immensely more every time I see it. So the first time you saw it going, not really understanding what's going on here, feeling iffy on it, I get it. But what are your thoughts?
So, I think it almost I'm not saying the film's disappointing, but it disappoints me that I don't feel as I should feel about the movie.
Okay.
And because the first viewing for me, I've seen it twice already.
Yeah.
The first viewing for me was the world grabs you like immediately. It's like, boom, here we go.
Yeah.
We're in it. Waste no fucking time. here's this, that with a whole bunch of I'm like, okay, what the fuck is got it?
Well, when it starts before the logos, black screen with text is going.
I'm like, what the
I was
fuck?
like, okay, here we go.
I was like,
I've been some
got it.
shit.
Right. So for me, the first time I was like, I really want to enjoy this, but I don't know what the fuck is going on. Outside
Sure.
of like visuals and scope and acting and all that.
Yeah.
Amazing. Brilliant. But I'm just like, I can't keep up with the story because they just go into this just like boom.
Yeah.
Here's all this, these names,
We're
these
not
faces,
feeding you
these
shit.
people.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, what? And it pissed me off because everybody and their fucking mother who has anything important and descriptive and expository to say is literally whispering the fuck out of everything. I'm like, what are you saying? Between Timothy, it's like, yeah, I don't know. We're gonna. The mother won't stop frantically whispering into anything. Bitch, what are you saying? So it's just like, I'm like, okay. And those are the two that have the most, you know, exposition outside of Zendaya.
Sure.
So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna have to watch this again. I'm just gonna have to let it take me and watch it again.
Yeah.
On second viewing, I'm all caught up to speed. I know everything that's going on, and I'm gonna give a little run through to make sure I'm correct in a bit. But I did the whole run through. I'm like, okay, cool. I nodded off a little bit towards the end, but my overall is the movie's cool. I'm not like, oh my god, masterpiece, the best thing that's ever Jesus that people are going crazy for now. But I love the world. The scale and visuals of just everything is gorgeous. That score, holy sweet balls of fire, ridiculous.
Incredible. Yeah. Oh my god.
So yeah, overall film, great. It was cool. I liked it, but I feel like I should be a lot more hyped than I am. But it definitely made me more curious and open to part 2 that just got
Right.
announced today. Yeah,
See,
no, when she was praying, it was, but every other time it was like, girl.
So
Just,
so that's the thing is what's funny is this was not a Tenet situation for me.
see,
Where
I thought
so
I had no issues with Tenet.
so Tenet pissed me the fuck off because they're sitting there, they're literally saying like words to each other and you just can't hear it. Like they're looking you right in the camera and you can't hear what they're saying. You're trying to read their lips. It doesn't work. With this one, like first of all, like the scene that he's talking about where the hand in the box scene and she's outside freaking out. I immediately like, no, you on first viewing, especially, you cannot understand every sentence that she's saying. But I immediately hear her talking about fear. So I know it's I wouldn't necessarily call it a prayer, but she is repeating something in her head to help her get through this moment. I no longer care about the words that she's saying. And like that's it's the feeling that Denis trying to invoke, not the words.
But it's also to suppress her emotions because she's supposed to be like an emotional.
And but then again, she's walking her son into a room with the person that trained her, so she knows and has been through this and knows that if he messes up, he's dead. So she's tripping balls. But what I will say is, I personally like when it comes to the movie making aspect of this. Like I really think the first like 2 hours of this movie are masterful. Like Denis.
It's pretty damn ridiculous.
Absolutely destroys this thing. So as soon as they're in the
dragonfly thing flying
in the dragonfly thing, you can. I think that they had to start cutting stuff, because things start moving way too quick, and
that
it's
was
like,
the weakest part for me.
He had a 3 hour and 5 minute movie, and needed to cut that shit down. And so I'm like, I get it, but also you can feel it because everything else has really taken its time, and all of a sudden it's here. All of a sudden he's fighting some guy.
Okay,
what you got?
Okay, so I'm gonna get to that guy, but it's going to have to come to the notes that I had. This is the first movie I've ever taken fucking notes on to keep what the hell's going on. God. This is the concept of the film. If I get some shit wrong and misunderstand, let me know here.
Okay.
So it follows Paul, the House of Atreides. I thought it was something else completely different in the trailers. I didn't know it was House of Atreides. I thought it was like House of Treaties or some shit. House of
So
House of Atreides.
that's okay. I can already see that you were going into this just not understanding anything that they tried to give you in their marketing either.
Yeah, nope,
Okay, I
not at
got you.
all. Okay, who is the son? Of Leto and Lady Jessica, who is also now she's part of the Bene Gesserit, right? So
Yes.
there's like a group of witches or sorcerer based
Yeah.
people. Now were they in like control the politics behind like the houses, or was it just the Reverend Mother who was right hand to the Emperor who controls all of that? Or was it the Bene Gesserit themselves, or just the Reverend Mother?
Well, no, I think the Reverend Mother is sending them out to certain places to do things. Like
Okay,
I think that's why Leto's like, I trusted you completely, even when you were walking in the shadows doing some
got
shit.
you.
So like he knows that they're supposed to be doing certain stuff.
Right. Okay. So it's
Is
them
what I inferred at least.
who
Yeah.
are behind the
Yeah.
politics of the houses throughout the
Yeah.
universe, galaxy, wherever the hell. Okay. In which Paul is a half blood to that. So he's an heir to the Bene Gesserit as well as
Atreides.
our Atreides, right? Which is why he can do the voice and all that freaky shit. So they think he is the Lisan al Ghaib, whatever the hell,
Mm-hmm.
the Messiah, right? Who can do all these things, see the future, past, and present, and all that
Right.
good shit. Because the Benny was going through the world trying to mix bloodlines and get
Correct.
that motherfucker out, right?
Yeah.
So is that the same as the Quasit Hedgerik, or whatever the hell it is?
Is that the name that the Freemen have for it?
No, that's the name that the Reverend Mother was like, "Oh, you're trying to make the Quazik Hadagi. He's supposed to be
Correct.
like the."
So
Is
that's
that
the
the same
thing.
as the Lazan?
So yes, so
Okay,
Freemen call it the Gaib because I remember Zendaya saying
yeah.
that. And that's the thing is the Bene Gesserits are sending people to Arrakis,
Mm,
and in their terms, they're starting superstitions and things like that. And so, of course, they're going to have their own name for it.
okay.
And so yeah, that's all this. The one is all of those. Yes,
Got you. Okay. So they were sent to Arrakis, take control, not control, but help to mine the spice because the most important thing in the galaxy and universe and all the riches, interstellar
yeah,
travel, but
correct.
also healing properties and psychedelic shit.
Yeah.
Who guarded by the Freemen or the Fremen, whatever they want to call them,
Mm-hmm.
um, who live in these communities on Arrakis called the Siege, right?
Yes,
And who worship
that's what
the
they call
worm
their
god,
cities. Is
the cities.
sieges.
Yeah, the Sieges, and who worship, the Dune
The
worms,
sandworm. Yeah,
sandworms, and the Great Worm. I forget the motherfucker's name,
right.
but yeah, and they're hunted by the Harkins, who were there governing over Arrakis for 80 years until
Correct.
the Emperor sent them off and sent Atreides in because he was jealous and scared of how powerful they were getting, right?
No.
Okay, why is that motherfucker mad? The Emperor,
So the Emperor takes the Harkonnens out to put the Atreides in
right?
to kill them all.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Why? Because
That
Baron is like, oh, he's a jealous
so
dude because they're getting rising in
and
power.
so that's what I've asked. That's the thing is like I think that there's part two stuff coming when we actually get to meet the Emperor and all that shit because
Right, because they have
I've
talk
been
about the bastard.
asking what do the Atreides have that's so special because
Right,
which they did already talk about how their forces are very strong and you obviously see by the end that like they are taught to fight very well because Paul's kicking ass.
yeah,
Um, but that's a question I've been having, and I think that there is future storytelling involved in that to where because that's what I kept saying is they say the Harkonnens are now more wealthy than the Emperor
yeah,
himself. Why is he on their side? So it's a thing of
right,
does he somehow know that Paul is this thing and we need him dead? Or another thing that like my coworker said was like they only really call the people of I guess not Atreides, but the people of Caladan, where they're from, human. Like,
yeah,
hey, Arrakis isn't good for like on humans. Like, it's tough to be a human, and even the main Bene Gesserit woman's like, I hope you live, human.
Yeah.
And
I was like,
so
you dick.
right. And so it's like, is there something with humans that is special? And what I also have read and understood is every single person you see was a human many years ago, and they have evolved to like subspecies. And so I'm almost wondering if there is a jealousy there where they look more pure, whereas Harkonnens look all fucked, like Batista's all nasty looking. And so I'm like,
Right.
well, I'm wondering if maybe that's what they're going for, is like some people might look messed up and they're jealous of that. I'm not sure there. And it's a thing of like, I don't want to read the book or like be spoiled.
Right.
And so I'm interested in that because I do think there's something about either looks or about bloodlines or something where they are jealous of the Atreides and not even about money, which is interesting.
Right. That's cause I was trying to figure because the Baron was like that. It's like, oh, the Emperor's a jealous man and all. I'm
Right.
like, but you
When
motherfuckers are
is a
more
gift
powerful
not
than
a
him.
gift?
So,
Yeah.
right. So I'm like, so why? What is his hatred towards Atreides? Who like they sent
Right.
us here to die? Like why? So I
Correct.
thought maybe it was because of Paul, maybe because Atreides was getting too big. I'm like, at the same time, the Harkonnens are more powerful
Better.
than the Emperor.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, okay, sure. And they joined the Saradukar, whatever army, the Emperor's people.
Yeah. Sardaukar or whatever.
Sardaukar, yeah, some shit like that, to basically wipe them out. So I was like, okay, I just need it. And so bring back the dude. So Paul is seeing these visions throughout the film of Zendaya.
Yeah.
And then he starts seeing visions of the dude who I thought was going to be beneficial to him,
Oh, the friend.
but he's just a dick and then pops him off and kills him at the end because he wants to fight. I'm like, so why are you seeing all these wonderful visions of him
Right.
helping you and guiding you if he's just a dick and you killed him? So I was like, I didn't get his parts of the dream. So I'm like, well, at least Zendaya's had purpose and a future of things,
Well,
but
but hers have also been off too. I mean, a lot of the stuff has been off.
his is like, well, hers like a future events to come. His is
Well,
like,
I mean, the first time he has a vision of her, she stabs him,
right.
and so like that
Everyone that she
obviously.
does is fucking stabbing her, although she's looking
And
into the fucking
so
sunrise.
I mean, so it's not just. I'm trying. I don't know the guy's name. Jameis is his name. I didn't
Yeah.
want to have to call him the black guy, but sadly he's one of the few in the movie. I wish
Right.
they had done that better when it comes to casting. But yeah, so Jameis, like even in the vision where it looks like they are back on Caladan with the Freeman stuff, and they're up in that ship with blue eyes. He's with Zendaya. Jameis is in the background with them. So it goes back to the box scene, hand in the box scene after he completes that test.
Mm.
The main Bene Gesserit woman is saying, he's getting thrown in the fire, and he's not even like that muscle isn't even all the way figured out yet. Because that's the thing is she asked him, do you see things that come exactly true? And he's like, no, not exactly. And she's out. She dips because she's like, oh, you're fucked because you can't see the future yet. That means you're not the one. We got to keep trying to make somebody that can, because she knows we're sending you to a planet and you're going to die more than likely. So that's why she's like, he's going to the fire. I hope you live, human, stuff like that. And she's like,
laid it down for him. Don't squander it.
Right. And that's also, yeah, they sent Bene Gesserits there. That's why Paul's like, they believe what they were told to believe because there's people just been spreading shit.
Right.
But yeah, so I love that because it's definitely something on first viewing. You have to slowly realize, oh, I'm seeing two different events of the same event. When it comes to like Zendaya, you're seeing different things with her. So you have to kind of realize without being told, these visions are not all the future. Like they're possibly the future or they're meaning something, but that muscle in him is not all the way shaped. So he's interpreting it wrong type of scenario. So yeah, that's how I look at it, at least because like I saw someone say like, oh, he's the friend, he's supposed to help. And it's like, well, he does help, but he helps by allowing Paul to become something more. And that like he interpreted it wrong, which is kind of an interesting way to look at it. But I like that kind of you know,
I guess. I'm like, why is this
because
motherfucker giving him insight and shit if he's just a dick and he just kills him? So I'm
well,
like, when did this conversation happen?
so that's what's also kind of funny though is I think he could be interpreting it as because like he even sees Jameis kill him in the vision right before they fight.
Right.
And that's when like there's a line in that vision that's like my favorite fucking line because like I was so confused at that part, and I have it right here because I dug it so much after I figured it out because it's sitting there watching Paul die, and it says Paul Atreides must die for the Kwisatz Haderach to rise, and I'm watching him die, and I'm like in the movie I'm like oh fuck like he knows he needs to walk over there and die. And so, but then it continues talking during that vision and it says, don't be frightened, don't resist. When you take a life, you take your own.
Mm.
Meaning, you kill him, Paul Atreides dies, and the Kwisatz Haderach can rise now. So kill him, and you'll become what you're supposed to become. So I would like, after I figured that out, I was like, oh, fuck, this is legit, man. Like, I dug that so much. Because, yeah, it is weird that it's like a person, like, there was a possibility at some point, or like it's a multiverse like thing where that guy at some point could have been a friend of his and was going to
Right.
teach him how to ride a sandworm because that's what
Right.
they
Or
were sitting there
just the
talking about.
ways of the desert in
Right.
general.
And now it looks like that's Zendaya instead. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And Zendaya, she was cool in it. She literally just popped up at the end
For the little bit that she's in it. Yeah.
for a little bit that she's staring through most of the movie and
Yeah.
then pops up at the end. At first, I was like, I don't trust this bitch. Fix your face, because she was me mugging him through the whole entire time, even after
Yeah.
the fact. I'm like, I don't trust you, girl.
She has some eyes, like when she's trying to look mad in those visions, I'm like, oh no, man. She like there's
Yeah.
part of me that thinks that she's somehow the one or something. Like, I don't know. Like
Right.
trying to figure out if is Paul supposed to help her awaken something by like teaching her the voice and now she's taken off, or is
We'll
it their
see.
kid? I don't know.
That voice shit was cool though. I did like the
Oh
voice.
my god, man. That was one thing, like when I'm telling you, because I was obsessed with those trailers. Like the trailers for Dune were fucking awesome.
Mm.
Artistic, I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. I know I'm not supposed to yet. I just like watching them because they're beautiful. And the fact that that movie starts and immediately I'm like, hold up, they have powers in this?
Yeah.
I
I didn't
was
know
like,
that at all.
I know. I was like, oh, this is dope. Like I was like so in.
She was like, use the voice. I'm like,
And
huh?
and the way it like I love that using the voice, it obviously it's like those like it like the noise is fucking wild, but then the
Right.
voice you hear is
Some little Chucky bitch.
it's the main woman, the Bene Gesserit woman, the head woman talking. It's her voice that is the voice. Like, and so it's like that's been passed down for so long. And so that's one thing that's kind of weird is Paul's like, give me the water. And it's some woman going, give me the water. And you're like, oh shit. Like what? But then that's what's kind of funny is then you go to like one other thing that apparently the Bene Gesserits can do is they are in full control of their bodies. Like they have evolved to be full control of their bodies. So that's why they can talk this way and things like that. And that's why you're supposed to only bear daughters.
Yeah.
And things like that. They can control what they bear.
Yeah, which is interesting. When she said that, I was like, oh, okay.
But what's also kind of what's funny, all Jessica, his mom, says throughout the whole movie is your pitch is off. Watch your pitch. You got to hit that pitch. And I think it's because he's a man.
Yeah.
He can't hit the woman's voice of the voice. And so it's tough for him. And I fucking like, I dig it so much. Like trying to get into the lore of this stuff. Like, because I'll be the first person to say, like, no, I didn't tear up in this movie. Or like, I'm not so in love with Paul Atreides as a character that like, I would have been so upset if he died or this or that. Because that's the thing too. Everybody fucking dies. Surprise. I didn't expect that.
Right.
I
was like,
sitting there going,
okay.
like halfway through the movie, I was like, oh my God, this cast is incredible. They're all gone. Like,
yeah.
Deuces. And which
and
is
then fucking
ballsy.
Brolin just disappeared. I was like, wait, he's gone. Where'd he go? All right.
And
Part 2.
right. And it's like, I was sitting there going, oh wow, like the part two's cast, it's gonna be all new and probably even crazier than this one because now
Yeah.
everybody wants to be in this shit.
Oh
So
yeah.
like, so that gets me excited for part two and whatnot. But
Yeah.
I I can
Cast is
say
sick, man.
like so Hannah took her to see it opening night. She's like, she's like, I didn't really. And the thing though is like when she thinks sci-fi, I think she's thinking Star Wars
Right.
or even like Marvel, where it's like there's hero, there's humor, there's big action sequence, a big come to the hero moment, whatever. It's like, no, this is true sci-fi where you're dropped in a world and you're now living in something you don't understand,
Right.
and
And
they
it gives
take
a
off.
fuck if you don't understand it or
Right.
not. I was like, read
And
here.
because
You
that
gotta
was
catch
something
up.
too. So like my cousin, who's 18 in college, he's smarter than all of us combined. And he went and saw it for opening night. He was like, "Oh, I love it. I'm freaking out." He already had bought the book, immediately started reading it. I had to
Wow.
go visit him over the weekend, and I'm looking at the book on his desk, and I pick it up, and I'm just thumbing through it because I wanted to see how many pages it was. It ended up being like it's like 617, massive book. But then there's a ton of pages after that. There is a full dictionary or appendix, is what it's called,
Mm.
that are terms and definitions of the world. In the book itself, it does not say the Bene Gesserits, which are the women that do this, this, and this. No, it goes just like this movie does. If you want to know what that word is, you got to pause, flip to the back, and figure it out yourself. You got to read that and then
Yeah.
go back. Every ship, everything is in there. And I was like, it really was that situation where like
Wow.
George Lucas obviously got like a ton of inspiration off of this, but still it's that thing of like George Lucas built a whole world with a history going into the first movie. And so like I'll always be envious of that kind of mind. And
Mm.
I'm sitting there going, this guy had all that too, where he's like, oh, I'm not about to pander to the audience. Like I'll give it to him in the back, but like I'm
That's
going.
wild.
I've got my story. And so I was sitting there going, Denis told that story. Like
Yeah.
he's like, hey, if he ain't doing it, I'm not doing it. Like you guys can figure it out.
Oh, you know, because he was
And
obsessed with that book, like as
right.
a kid, like
And
obsessed. Yeah.
as soon as I realized that, I had even more respect for not only like the original author, but Dune as a franchise, as a IP, and
Yeah.
then Denis going, oh no, I'm doing exactly this.
Did
Like,
you see his breakdown of a scene?
yes.
Yeah, that's what was like. He was like, I didn't give a shit about the audience. I was
Yeah,
presenting it to me.
this was for me.
Like
Yeah,
this
I
was yeah,
love that. Like
yeah. I was
teenage
like,
me.
oh, I was like,
And
oh,
I
excuse me.
awesome. Like good for
Right.
you because that's the thing. Like I was sitting there, I'm sitting next to Kenya, and he's like, "Who directed this?" I said, "Denis Villeneuve," and he's like, "Oh yeah, okay." And I was like, "Prisoners, probably my favorite movie of all time." And he's like, oh, "Fuck," he's like, "I need to watch." Like he had never seen that, and I'm like, "You better go watch that
That's
shit because
insane.
it is." I think it's my favorite movie of all time. It's so fucking
Masterpiece.
unbelievable. Absolutely.
Masterpiece.
That's one thing that you and I we could go to our graves being like, man, that was my fucking brother right there because that thing is a masterpiece. But
Absolutely.
but yeah, I'm trying to think of like other tidbits throughout the movie that, like, what'd you think of the Baron? Uh,
I like the Baron. I thought it was pretty damn cool. Like for the little shit that I was in, like him just being a fucking slob, like he's on my shit. And I'm like, okay,
yeah,
cool. But only thing was, I'm like, motherfucker, how'd you survive that? And you got that shit face first
right.
in the damn. So I'm like, oh, you
So
bastard.
I'm thinking there. That's the thing is like I think he's more powerful than his fat ass looks. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
I'm
he's
sure.
so powerful that he gets taken care of. He eats all he wants. He doesn't even have to walk anymore because he's got that
No.
shit in his back.
It's like you
And
lazy.
so that's the thing too. When I took Devin to see that movie, one thing that pissed me the fuck off is I have my seats. Like my seat, I always
Mhm.
buy the seat in the IMAX theater. That's where I'm sitting. When I went to buy the tickets, the whole row in front of me was bought out. And I was like, what the fuck's this about to be? Turns out it's literally like a frat house from Baylor. And
Awesome.
we're sitting there, trailers are going, and the kids are like, for like down the whole aisle. They're like, "Hey, you look like you go to Baylor," to like their other friends that they know, and they're like, "Oh yeah," and I'm like, both of us are like, we were that fucking annoying at one. Like, we're like, God damn, man, like I've never wanted to just start choking them out one by one, just go down the.
It's pretty
But
annoying.
every time the Baron got on screen, they all busted out laughing, and
It's annoying.
it's because he's fat and like looks like that, and I'm like, y'all don't realize, like, go back to like Kings and Queens time and like, Game of Thrones type shit.
Mm.
Kings were fat because they were the most powerful. They won that power. No one was going to try to fight them to take that, and everybody did everything for them after that. But
Right.
you should be
And
terrified of that person.
oh yeah, because I liked him because he
And
was very much Bane to me, like Dark Knight Rises
yeah,
Bane.
yeah,
How he was so calculated with like his words and just like petty. I was like, oh,
yeah,
I said I'd set her free, and
yeah,
and I did. You can join. I'm like,
yeah.
damn. I said I would bring no harm to the kid, but the shit will fuck.
But
I'm like, you dick.
Arrakis is a rough
Right,
planet. It's like, God damn.
right. I'm like, dear God, and it's like, I love the characters. I love the world building of it all. I really do. That fucking nasty ass fucking ink spider shit freaked me the hell. I'm like, what is that?
The
Like it
giant spider ant looking thing
with a man
with
face. Oh,
with human hands. Did you see
yes, that's
its
disgusting.
feet were hands?
Yes, it's
And
very
so that's the
gross.
thing, is I saw somebody say they think that that's that doctor's wife. They take, because he says they take her apart like a
Mm,
doll, and it's
it's
like, holy shit.
gross. He
Yeah.
doesn't understand your language. Get out. He understands. I was like, oh shit, she's
Okay.
gangster.
Can I just go to, so this is what, and you'll respect this, because
Mm,
as a small-minded, wanting to go see a giant blockbuster audience member, as soon as I learned of the voice, like right there at the beginning, you get the voice, and I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna have an insane scene where he uses the voice on something. It's gonna be awesome. First, you think it's in the helicopter when those guys,
yeah,
he barely does it, and then fucking Jessica goes ham, and
yeah.
it's awesome.
I was like,
Like,
whoa.
she's like, kill him.
It was
Like,
kind of freaky. Like, I'm gonna go, like, it
yeah,
was freaky as fuck a little
of
bit. Like, to hear
course.
the voice, I'm like, oh, cut the
Um,
rope. I was like, oh,
yeah, no,
bitch.
very. And that's when you realize, like, oh, that's the real tone. Like, there's
Yeah,
no, like, they have no choice.
yeah. It's like, Paul, step
Um,
it up, bro.
and but also in the box scene, I got, just to go back for a second,
Mm.
when the main woman does it to Paul, the way it's edited
Oh
to
yeah,
where for him it's an instant,
yeah.
and he's just waking up there, and you
You're
get
like,
to experience
what the?
like the direction,
Yeah,
unbelievable. Like, it really is phenomenally done. But
you're like, her shit carried weight.
uh,
I was like,
yeah,
ooh,
but I have to admit, so fast forward in the movie, they're getting chased by the sandworm, Paul and his mom.
mm,
You've seen in the trailer that he makes it to the rocks. Sandworm starts looking over him.
yeah.
I'm sitting there going, he's about to use the voice on that fucking sandworm.
I thought he was about to Aquaman that
And
shit like a
and
motherfucker.
exactly. And no, that doesn't happen. And I'm like, okay. Then you get to the end, and you're watching, like, the first time I saw it, I interpreted things wrong, because you're seeing this vision. He gets killed by Jamis, and it's sitting there saying Paul Atreides must die, and I'm like, okay. And that's where I'm sitting there going, it's because it says Paul Atreides must die for that being to rise, and I was sitting there going, it's fucking Zendaya. He needs to die so that she gets some sort of awakening, because he had her blade or something, and whatever. And then I was like, oh fuck, he's gonna mess this up. Like, I thought it was like like a future, like I'm gonna mess up the correct future scenario,
Mm,
which is, I'm in my head, I'm writing the movie as it's going, and that's wrong. But
yes.
I'm sitting there going, as soon as they're they're about to line up, and as soon as everybody goes like, hey, fight, like, which Stilgar over here, Javier Bardem, for the little he's in it, I liked it a lot. Javier's awesome, but
He is really
he,
cool.
he does this little
Mm,
hand thing, and to start the fight, and I thought Paul was gonna go kill yourself, and the guy just and just fucking, and they were all gonna go like, oh fuck, he is
right.
that thing. No, not it. And so what I'm alluding to is it's the Last Jedi for me. Everyone wanted Luke Skywalker pulling a Star Destroyer out of the sky. Of course, we all wanted that shit. What we got is so much better in so many ways, in terms of story, in terms of character, whatever. And so I had to realize there's a reason George Lucas got Star Wars from this, and this isn't Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's also a reason why Rian Johnson inherited Star Wars, inherited the childishness that is the Force Awakens, and said, "I'm going to make Dune out of this." And I now see that, and I appreciate it so much because somebody finally said, "This is Star Wars for adults," and I'm like, "You're fucking right. It is.
Yeah.
Star Wars is for kids. This right here is my shit."
Yeah,
and guess what? It's PG-13.
Yep.
They don't have to cuss because they're using language we already don't understand. It's like it does. Even though we get blood,
once, like only on the knife we get blood,
right? And so it's like I realize good storytelling can happen without and raw and ruthless storytelling can happen without that R rating. And I'm just like, man, like Denis really does. It is a masterful job of what he pulls off with this thing.
So I'm glad you brought that up in terms of violence. This was my only, because I say things of like, okay, I understand, but here was my only negative, honestly, of the film was, major negative was I did not like the choreography when it came in terms of like the shields and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Because it didn't have any weight to me, because every time they swung, the fucking shield is like, so I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is. Like, it's not clear. So I'm like, that got really annoying. But at the end, when I was like, just Paul and the dude, straight up, okay, I can see the choreography. You get hit, you're getting hit. Like, I can see where you're getting hit. It's not just like, move and vibration shake. It's like, it was weird, and I did not like that. So, but yeah.
I see what you're saying. So, first of all, one thing, the first time I saw it, as soon as the fight starts, I was like, oh, fuck, this is terrible at the end, because all music cuts out and they're just going and like swinging and fucking missing. And there even still is like choreography in that fight where you can see that the actor that plays Jameis is like, he has to be like, I gotta miss here. And like, you can kind of see it's like
the choreography isn't great in this,
where you can see the guys in the background like having to wait for their cue. But when I actually love the shield thing because it's so different in the sense of, yes, what I don't understand is why fighting isn't just grappling now, because the point is a fast moving object gets blocked by the shield. And so and Jason Momoa, who we haven't even talked about yet, phenomenal job.
We will.
With the choreography from him, because he gets most of that.
Oh yeah.
When it's really like for kills, and it's moving quickly, and when you're actually going for a deathly strike, you have to slow down, get it in their shield, and then fucking slowly slit them and whatever. And so I love that, like, that's so flipped on its head. But the thing about it is, I'm surprised that fighting isn't just like immediately I'm putting my shoulder into you, tackling you, holding you down, and just slowly putting my knife through your fucking throat. Like, that's the only thing that's like, I'm surprised that's not it. People are still swinging super fast, but it definitely, the choreography, for me at least, it looks weird and off, but it's meant to, because they can't just go like, they have to slowly
it's just,
but that's the world. That's straight from the book. They can't change it.
I just didn't feel any impact on any fight other than like Jason's. And even though there was still moments where I was like, I can't feel it, because every time you hit someone, it's like, and then I don't see clearly where the impact is, because it's cut with like the shield and all that shit. I'm just like, it's just weird. But so yeah, to the performances, Jason was the standout to me. I fucking loved him. in this.
Yeah, he's
He was
great.
my favorite character. Um, Duncan Idaho. He was just a badass. He was great acting from him,
Yeah.
and he was just like the right hand, like my people, my friend, my king, like
Yeah.
killed it. Sucks that he fucking went out this movie. I really hated that because I wanted more of him
But it was great.
in the second. Oh no, he went out like a badass.
He
But
is just to interject for a second, he
yeah,
is definitely the character meant for like today's American audiences, where like he even like dies and then he gets up, pulls it out, and is like, "Ah!"
yeah.
you're like, this is cheesy as fuck, but I'm so in because like it's his dying breath, and he's like, I'm trying to save my Duke, like,
Yeah.
and so you feel that. But anyway, yeah, Jason was great with that kind of character.
Yeah, he was great. Oscar Isaacs, great.
Yeah, for
That
sure.
man is just suave. So I'm like, okay, cool. Do you, homie? Um, I've always been. I want to say I've always been a fan, but I've always liked Rebecca Ferguson.
Yeah.
This movie was like, this woman's a treasure. Got it. Okay, heard it. Like I see
Correct.
the hype about this, about her now. Um, Timothy, I feel like he did a really good job. When I wasn't drooling over him half the time, I thought he did pretty damn good. But because I talk shit about, want to do things to him, and they're very true. But I've never watched him in like a film. I've always been
Yeah.
like, oh, interviews on
Right.
camera. That motherfucker is perfect.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, got it. But I feel like he did good. I liked him in this film. His acting, that box scene alone was really damn good. I was like,
Oh my
okay.
god, I think that's my favorite scene of the whole movie. His performance is remarkable.
Yeah.
In that shit.
I was like, whoa, dude. Got it.
Along with the score that like so perfectly
So
accompanies the
and
just like and the like nails on a chalkboard type of thing when the pain starts and it's just louder and louder and you're just like you feel it because you're sitting there going, I wish the sound would stop, and he's sitting there going, Gah! And like silence, and you're like, God damn, bitch! Like, give him a second.
Like, shut the fuck up! I was like, damn. I'm like, this shit hurts.
Yeah, he ain't moving, but you can't even let him talk. It's like, fucking like, ruthless ass.
Damn.
Bitch.
But then she started to see like, oh, I'm awakening some shit right now. Heard it, got it.
She's like, oh wow, like he has overcame this and is now just looking at me like he wants to fuck me up. I might want to get up.
Right. I might want to remove this from his neck. So I'm like, yeah. Who else? Anyway, like I said, Zendaya was cool.
Batista.
Okay. So
sorry.
He was fine, I guess. He had 2 fucking words with 2 sentences. I'm just like, close your mouth. Why you look so stupid in half these damn scenes? Like, when the Baron's talking to me, just sitting there like,
I know.
I'm like, close your mouth.
When he at the very beginning, when he comes in, he's like, it's done. We're out. How could we let them do this? And all of a sudden he's like, like scares the shit out of everybody.
I was like, that's so Batista.
I know.
Just hollering. I'm like, okay, this is what everyone was clamoring of a Blade Runner for, huh?
But it also really is that moment where it's like, I immediately learned, like, okay, because that's his uncle. He said, like, Baron's his uncle. And I immediately learned, oh, Batista is the small-minded goon that is blood, so he gets to run this shit.
Yeah.
But the Baron is very smart. He's the one that I'm not going to give all my stuff to him because he'll ruin this. He'll give my secrets away or whatever it may be. No, he's like, hey, you think I'm gonna really just let them take this? Basically, he's like, there's a plan here. But one person I definitely want to give a shout out to, who ends up being really a favorite of mine, Sharon Duncan Brewster as Dr. Liette Kynes is fantastic. Because she starts as that, she's in between. She's supposed to be overseeing the transfer, but really she's from the Emperor. And who's the Emperor? Emperor's siding with the Harkonnen. So she's basically like, I'm here to do nothing for you.
Yeah.
I'm here to see nothing, report nothing. whatever.
Yet
And
you
she,
risk your life to save us.
yeah, that's what's funny is like when it comes to Paul, because do you remember me saying with the trailer, there's that scene in the trailer where he's like, "What if I'm not
Yeah.
the rifle?" And I was like, his voice is making me nervous. I'm like, is he
Yeah.
going to sound like that the whole time? The answer to that pretty much is yes, but
Oh yeah.
context makes it work.
Yeah.
But because I get this weird sense of like, and it might be because he has the voice somewhat, so he does this now to where he's soft spoken, but also like not afraid to speak up.
Yeah.
To where like Stilgar comes up and he's like, you destroy our lands and you take our whatever, and he's like, that's true, just out of nowhere, and they're all like, God damn, kid,
Right. I was
like,
like,
can you
okay.
not? And then like a part like that where all of a sudden out of nowhere he's the one that's like, you risk your life to save us, why, like, kind of thing. And it's like, damn, like he's not a kid, a dumb kid along for this journey, like he's in,
Oh
and
yeah.
he's got the mind to be here.
No, fully committed for it.
And yeah, what you got?
So it's like, so with her, she wasn't like a half special anything, right? She was just Fremen doing her thing. I kept
Correct.
feeling like she was speaking like she was half or something. I'm like, why are they acting like she's more than just?
I think that she wasn't supposed to tell them that she's Fremen because
But that's the thing. What else is there? That's what I'm like.
she's from the Emperor. So she should have been sent from where he is and have learned the ways throughout the years that she's been here. But in reality, she actually has been there the whole time, is how I understand it. And therefore, she's like, her job really is supposed to not help them because she knows the ways they don't, and like, hey, don't help them, kind of thing.
Okay, yeah. I'm just like, why are they speaking like she's more?
And,
Like, we already know you're fucking Fremen, but
so that's the thing is like, are you Fremen? And she's like, I'm accepted in both. And so I think it's supposed to be like, you're a doctor here. You should be living in this area. Like you should be in the city because you can't be out there in the dunes unless you're Fremen. And she's like, I'm accepted in both, not letting people know like, oh no, I'm born and raised here.
right.
Because then they would go, I can't remember exactly what she is, but like a biologist or whatever, an environmentalist or whatever.
Yeah.
And so then they would have learned that,
I forgot the name.
you know, she has other things going on this planet because where's your shit here? You've been here for how long? Where's your equipment? And you realize that she's out there in those abandoned things that were going to be used to bring the water out of the sand, but they canceled all that shit for the spice.
Right. It's like your boots are fine stripped to perfection. Who taught you that? I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, and then she's like, oh, son of a bitch. Like in
Right.
her language, she's like, that
He would know their ways as if they were his own or some shit like that. I was like, oh, okay. And it's like, that brings me back to, because you brought up Javier Bardem. He's not in it a lot, but I love that man as just a fucking actor, because even the smallest damn scenes, he makes such an impact.
Right.
Like, just the whole time, he's so subtle. Like, we're talking to him, he's just like,
yeah.
He was like, okay, that's all I have to say to you. Goodbye. I'm like,
yeah.
All right.
I must resort to my people.
Right.
But,
like, damn.
All right.
And
when he's like, I recognize you in his language, and it's like, oh shit. But
it's pretty dope.
Other thing with him though is he said there, he's like, we will kill the woman. And then Jessica fucking, he's like, ease woman, ease.
Oh yeah, peace woman.
And
like,
and then he's like, and then he's like, Jameis, please don't do this. Like he's like, don't do this, Jameis. It's so funny, but it's like,
not invoke the rack of what a stall.
He's like, can you not be an ass for 5 fucking seconds, Jameis? Like,
yes, like relax, homeboy. Damn.
Because that's the thing too. So I gotta just bring this up because this is one I consider this a flaw, to be honest, and that is because Devin immediately saw it, so I wasn't the only one because I noticed this the second it happened. Hey, we're gonna kill the mom. Okay, go. Paul and Jessica start fucking him up. Jessica takes out Javier. Paul immediately fucks up Jameis and takes his gun.
Yeah.
No one else goes after him. And he runs up and is chilling out there, sniper. I'm ready to take some people out. And then Jameis is like, I won't have him.
Yeah.
Like, And they're like, it's like, hey man, you just got fucked up by the guy.
Yeah.
You really
Right.
like,
A
so
few
it
of them did. I was like, oh
right,
shit.
yeah. So it's like, you sure about this? And so I don't know what, like, I almost wish that that wasn't the person that Paul takes the gun from. Like, I wish that they had just swapped. I'm guessing that's out of the book, but like, I just find that interesting because anyone with common sense would have been like, I'll take any champion but him. Like, it's like he just fucked me up. Like,
Yeah.
or like, hey, maybe don't say you won't have them because they both just took out obviously the two best guys here.
Right. And just
But
chilling. Meanwhile, Zendaya's behind this motherfucker, like, yeah, I wasn't
but
gonna let you do anything.
I know,
Yeah.
which was funny.
I
But
was like, oh, you silent ass little ninja, I guess.
yeah,
Excuse me. Um, yeah, even our boy David, Polka Dot Man, was
not as big of a role as I thought he would
yeah,
have,
no, but
but he's
always
great.
great every time. Him and his just every time I see his face, I just feel so bad for him. Every time it's just the emotion he evokes from me. With like his eyes and that little sad look he
I
always
mean,
has. I'm
you know
like,
what
I
it
feel
is, right?
huh?
He looks like he's got cancer. He looks like a cancer patient. He's just always just like,
Oh my
and
god.
like no complexion. He's just like, I've got chemo in an hour. You're like, damn, son. Like he
Jesus.
always looks like that. But the thing, like, I really thought that he was going to have a bigger role, but
I did
he is
too.
a perfect example to really emphasize the fact that there is not one person in this movie, maybe Batista, but even for the role that he's playing, he
Yeah.
was cast to do a certain thing.
Which I'm seeing
Everyone,
a lot with that
yes,
reasoning for
um,
Batista.
but every single cast member goes all in and feels real to the world.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see even like Josh Brolin, who is probably the most himself.
Yeah.
I don't see Josh Brolin. Like, I see an older general guy that's
Yeah.
still as badass as he can be. And like, but
Yeah.
every
Brutal.
single, yeah,
Jesus.
every single person truly sells this world to where
Yeah.
it's like, hey man, there's no figuring out your role. Like that was one thing. What movie was it? It was Chris Pratt in Guardians. He's like,
Mm.
yeah, it took me a good month to where I was like, I think I understand how to play this guy. And it's like, you can tell there was none of that here. Like, here's who you are.
Mm-mm.
Here's how you need to be. Let's figure this out beforehand or something because everyone
Yeah.
feels
They
right.
cast it perfectly.
I mean, and they all go like, that's the thing is like, you look at like Bill Murray and Ant-Man, I'm worried that he's going to phone whatever this role is. It could be small, it could be big, whatever. Like, I'm scared he's going to phone it in because that's a big actor who has no reason to care about any role he does anymore, especially one like this. But then you look at this cast and you can see no one had that feeling. Like everyone was all in 100% and it sells it. I mean, you are in to this
Yeah.
world. It feels like a real place immediately. And I love it so much for that.
Yeah, no. Well, apparently Akasan fell asleep. But yeah, man, I fell asleep the
For
second time or at the end. I dozed off. I was like, oh shit. I guess I must have been tired or something, or it just I don't know. Like as much as this is cool, I don't know why I don't feel as strongly as I should about like everybody else does, and I feel like I should, but it's like I don't know. But like I'm hoping like part two, because apparently this has more action in part two and a
right.
lot less, talking and setup and stuff like that. So I'm very interested to see where that goes, especially now that they, found desert power. Because there's there was sea power, there's air power, and then desert power were the
Yeah.
three powers, right? And Atreides has like two of those motherfuckers, and the only one was desert, right? That's hence why everybody wants there. People in there riding worms and shit. I was
Well,
like, oh,
that thing there was like, he was talking about how we took over Caladan because we figured out water power and air power. He's like, but on Arrakis, we need desert power.
yeah,
Like that's how we will actually take that place and make it ours.
yeah. Those dunes were insane. I'm not dunes, the worms. I was like, holy hell! Like just the
Yeah.
scale of this film
So
was ridiculous.
I have completely forgotten to bring that up, and I thank you so much. That is the thing that I watched Chris Stuckman's review, and
Mm,
he and JVS are the two people in this world that can watch a movie and truly articulate what they feel, like right off the bat.
yeah,
Like it is 100% a skill, and they both do it very well. And because Stuckman said something immediately that, like, I was like, that is exactly why I'm so drawn to the effects in this movie. Because first of all, the effects are unreal, but also like
Nolan said it best.
also they also don't like stand out. It's not like Transformers where it's like, oh, there's a giant robot running through real life. It's like, no, like the world itself,
Yeah,
everything is just like the sandworm doesn't look like
seamless.
an effect in the desert. It just
Yeah,
is, it's a part of it.
mm,
But the thing about this movie, after he said it, I saw the movie again and was like, oh my God, this really is like what is awe inspiring to me. The way Denis shows you scale in almost every single shot
yeah,
is remarkable, to where he will show you space. Here's this giant portal ship and these little specks coming out. And then the next shot is how monstrous that ship that was a speck is. Or then you get a whole scene. He's frozen for me. Is he frozen for y'all? Let me see. He is frozen for y'all. Oh, I saw a little movement. There
yep.
he is.
We're back. Yeah,
Sorry. But the scene that really like blows me away is how you have the
the fucking
whole
messenger.
scene of hey, the refiner, harvester, we got to go save the guys.
Oh
And they
yeah,
fly down there, this monstrous, like I was talking to Devin outside the theater and I was like, that harvester was like the size of this theater. Like it was a giant mall-sized building
yeah,
um, in itself.
yep.
And then you get the sandworm that eats it, and it looks like a sandwich. While they're up in the air, it gives you the scale of seeing them to
Mm.
that worm to that vessel, and you're like, oh my! Like you immediately understand the scale of this world. And if you
Oh yeah,
look,
magnificent.
it is all throughout. Like when they
Yeah,
show up on Arrakis, you see how big people are to the monstrous ships, and then I mean,
mm,
it's just all throughout, and like it really is a thing you can tell. They every single shot of something, they want something we understand the size of to compare
yeah.
it to every single time.
There was there was a lot of shots I was just like in awe of. Like one you mentioned, kind of was when they land on Arrakis and the camera's literally following Oscar Isaacs, and you see all the rest of like the ships in the distance and the big
Yeah,
ones that are there in the forefront and all the people. I'm like, holy hell, this fucking scope is ridiculous.
yeah.
The one where the judge of change or messenger of change, whatever the fuck it was for the emperor, when it gave him the orders to go
Oh
to
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Arrakis, and like you said, the little ass fucking sensu bean came from a big ass whole ship. And I was like, what
And
is
then
that little
all of a
dot? And it
sudden,
landed. It's like, woo, and then the fucking wall comes down and they come out. I'm like, this thing is fucking
huge.
massive.
Yeah,
um, and I love the tracking shot when they're on their way to Arrakis in the dragonfly fucking ships, which were awesome, by the way.
yeah. So
And they're
damn good.
going through the desert. Just an IMAX. Oh my god, this was
Yeah,
ridiculous. That scene was gorgeous because you guys don't have a pure IMAX theater where you're at, right?
I mean, we
Like,
don't have true like the film IMAX, but I mean, we get to see IMAX movies. Like we get to see the full shot, but it's not 70 millimeter. It's 70 millimeter. Like it's not IMAX with laser. If you're going
right.
to
So it's
AMC,
not like the full like round dome from top bottom all like
uh,
IMAX
no.
theater.
Which I've
Okay.
been to one of those. I'm not the biggest fan of that,
Oh, I
but
fucking love that. It
I,
like immerses. Oh my
I'm
god.
so, like back when curved monitors became a thing, I hated them. So I've been to Dallas has one of those, and I'm not the biggest fan of it.
Oh, it's
But
beautiful. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Because like
yeah,
literally, oh my god. But there were just so many shots. I was like, this there's no film like it. like today,
Right.
like there isn't. And Nolan said it best. He was like, it's the most perfect, seamless blend of CGI and real life,
Correct.
whatever that you'll find. Like it's
Couldn't agree more.
ridiculous. Um, so yeah, I'm on board. I'm here for part two. I loved everybody in it. I said I wasn't in love with the film, but I liked it and I'm here for it. Um,
Yeah.
and I'll keep watching it. Like if it's on, like I'll sit there and I'll watch. Um, I'll watch that shit on my big ass TV. I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
Um, let me see if there's anything else I missed or wanted
I
to
know. There's so much in that movie.
put out. There's so much.
Like one thing I love is the bull throughout, how
Oh
like the
yeah,
grandfather got killed by the
grandfather.
bull, and
Yeah,
then Leto is looking at it while he's laying there in that chair,
yeah.
and like that's all he sees, and like he
And
said he's
Paul
like
keeps looking at it.
yeah, and like but he that shot when he's like paralyzed, laying sitting in that chair, and like that one tear's able to come down while
Yeah,
he's like saying like, hey, your son's dead,
I'm
that, and it's like,
here.
and
Yeah.
yeah, it's dope, man.
And he
Holy shit.
survived a full poison blast to the face. I was like, Jesus. Maybe it was his shield helped him out, maybe because he was the only one that popped it on, I guess, or had
That's a
it.
good point. That's a good point.
So I'm like,
Even though it
okay,
was red immediately, but
immediately, like none. So I'm like, oh, okay. And the doctor portraying his people and all that good stuff. I was like, oh, you son of a bitch.
yeah,
I was like, I guess they have your wife, sure,
and just
why
immediately gets
not?
killed.
Immediately, all that was
Yeah,
for nothing. You
yeah.
just helped him out and got fucked up. I was like, damn it. See, that's why you don't portray people, man. Um, let's see. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. I'm trying to go throughout the film and
It really is. This is a movie that every time I watch it,
Jesus,
I learn something new, but also like
same.
I want to learn so much but I'm also trying not to be spoiled. Um, Somebody's talking about budget. I want to say they're saying it's like between 150 and 165 or something like that.
Right.
Um, like this
And
was apparently like 50 million less than Black Widow was to be made, which is
wow.
wild because this looks so much better.
Uh, well, yeah, because their talent doesn't require as
I
much
mean,
money
yeah,
because they're big, but they're not like star power level like that to demand and get that much money. Fucking Scarlet alone is 20 million. It's like Jesus Christ. Um, So Kenya brought this up, but I did have a question about that because he said that Paul's father knew everything from jump.
right.
But I feel like he wasn't up until he found out like they set us up, they sent us here to fail. Like there's nothing
Yeah,
here to do.
correct.
And I was like, how did you? 'Cause I feel like he knew that he was about to get fucked up at that point because ever since she said take care of your family, he just got weird. He was like, oh, like I thought
Well,
we had more
that's
time.
exactly
I should have married
that's her
you. Like,
telling him.
yeah. So
Like
I'm just like, fuck.
so no, I think that that was one thing. Okay, him and I went and saw that movie. It started at 7 o'clock Sunday night. We were outside that theater at 12:30. We were out there talking for like 2 hours, just standing in the parking lot.
Mm,
And we talked about Dune for like 45 minutes, and like we're talking about other things too. But like we went ham on this because like, and he was bringing up great points about like how he sees like the writer. It seems like he's using like biblical references and things like that. And he was going off because he's real knowledgeable of all that. It was awesome. But we started talking about that. And I do definitely think because it brings back to the conversation we were having on Twitter where the what Desmalchian is and the other guy where their eyes flip back and they do calculations.
yeah.
They're called mentats, apparently, something like that. And they are able to do calculations and strategic situations. That's why they're always the right hand man. Because
Right.
in Dune, computers and AI are outlawed and have been for 10,000 whatever years. And so I definitely think as soon as Liette Kynes said that, it was her trying to go around about like, hey, I don't want to die for doing this, but I think your son might be the one. Protect your family. Like, you know what's coming because
Yeah.
you're putting because he's sitting there going, hey, you see it, it's clear as day. They set us up to fail. And she's like, he's like, "You gonna report this?" And she's like, "I'm told to report nothing."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh shit!" And she's like, "You need to protect your family." And that's the thing too, is I immediately am thinking he's going back to his mentat and saying, "What are the probabilities right now?" And that mentat's going, "They're coming."
You're about to get fucked up, sir.
Right. Like I actually do think that that's very possible.
And what happened to that
So,
motherfucker? Did he die? Did he live? I need to know. I liked
okay,
him.
where's he running to? He's
Who?
very overweight.
Oh yeah. But we didn't see it happen. So I'm like, what happened
Sure.
to him? Like I liked him
Oh
in his
no, he was
little umbrella.
fantastic. He reminds me of the bad guy from Monsters Inc. if he was a human. The the spider
The bad guy.
that he
The
runs.
little gecko shit?
No, the guy that ends up being the puppet master that was like
Oh, got
he
you.
was a
Yeah.
child, like
Yeah.
whatever. I'm trying to think of like what that character's name was, but like he was the spider older man that
Yeah.
ran the company. He looks like him. And
That's
so
funny.
I love him at first because like the movie
Yes,
Monster
in
Six starts
due
and
time.
he's holding the baby and all that, and he's like, "We'll get rid of it." All of a sudden, you're like, "Oh fuck!" I wouldn't expect him because he was so nice, old man. But yeah, this guy, I liked him a lot because I also loved how he's like, he didn't have the probability of that spy,
Oh
and
yeah.
he's like, "I give you my resignation," and he's like, you would take your
Your
skills away
skills,
from
yeah.
us in this moment." He's like, "Go figure this the fuck out,
Right.
man."
It's
Like,
like
it
my
is,
honor, the hell with your honor. You like you
go find more spies. Like,
right.
um,
You did a lot of
so
yelling towards
yeah.
the end of that. Damn the spice. I was like, oh shit. All right. Do what the man
Yeah,
says. You
yeah.
got it.
And that's the thing. That right there was the moment that Liet Kynes figured out these are good people.
Yeah.
This sucks that I know it's about to happen to them. And
Yeah.
so that's why she starts trying to give him hints because he said, "Damn the spice," which is what all the Harkonnens care about is
Yeah.
the spice and getting that. And he's like, "Damn the spice, let's save the people." And she's like, "Damn it, man, they're about to murder all of them." And like, these are good
It's
people.
see, and it's true because you realize that, but at the same time, at the end, she's like, men like you come and go. Clearly, we're not the same as all the rest that did
Sure.
this shit before, you know? So I'm like, this doesn't seem men like you come and go. Clearly, bitch, I'm not the
But
same. I'm trying
but
to
also she's Freeman or Fremen.
Fremen,
So
yeah.
like
She's Morgan Freeman.
she doesn't want colonizers on her planet. You know, and that's at the end of the day, that's what she's like, people like you have come and gone a million times.
It's just funny. I keep thinking of the Freeman just being literally named Morgan Freeman. So it's a bunch of blue-eyed people that sound like Morgan Freeman on the planet. I mean,
Just talk about falling asleep. We'd
oh,
be
oh my
out
god,
if
that would
if
be
all of them
too
talked with
much.
that cadence. We would
They'll
be
be and say, just
out,
take care of your family. It's like,
and we just
what?
it's like
Like, goddamn, like, oh, fuck, I'm Freeman.
Morgan Freeman, like Bond.
We have the desert power. Oh my god. Oh my
Oh
god. What
man!
about Javier Bardem sound like Morgan Freeman? Oh my god. That'd be hilarious.
Instead, he sounded like oh man, from Last Jedi. What's his name? Benicio. He's like real like shifty in a way. He's like
Oh, he was a little
please.
shifty.
He's
What?
like, "Jameis,
Don't do
please,
this.
don't
You
do this,
cannot invoke the
Jameis."
right.
It's like, but he's actually like, "Jameis, don't do this." He's like, "God damn it, you've killed all of our people, Jameis, you son of a man." He's like, "We don't have to
You
kill
can take your
everyone."
spice, just don't come for our sieges. I'm like, oh my god. That is all I have to say
That-
to you. I don't think
that is very honorable.
right. So my honor requires I be elsewhere. I'm like, okay. Well, peace out to you.
And they're like, "Deuce is still guard."
Right.
He walking out.
Like, peace, homie. He's like,
Yeah.
damn. All right.
Hey, stay here. And he's like, "No, not a chance."
No, I'm good, Pip. I'm gone.
Yeah.
And just dip out. I recognize you though. Peace out.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey,
fuck.
I got seen you somewhere."
Like, damn. And fucking every 2 seconds, Josh Brolin's trying to stab somebody. I'm like, bro, can you relax?
He
Like,
was Oh my god, the spitting scene is so.
Oh my
Talk
god.
about a movie with not a lot of humor.
Yeah.
That little gag is phenomenal because you're not expecting it at all. And
Oh yeah, I was like,
Stilgar just
damn.
walks up and hawks a fat loogie, and
Bro, it's
everybody's
like, what the
pissed.
fuck?
Yeah, and then Momoa's like,
I
"Oh,
was like,
thank you, Stilgar." It's
and it's
very,
cause funny because once you actually think about that, like that
it's
is like a
it
that's a
perfect.
currency there. It's like
Yes,
these people live in the desert. Like I'm
um,
giving you my fucking
because
moisture.
that's what's something too is it works very well for the PG-13 situation for when Liet Kynes gets killed to
Oh
have the
yeah.
water shootout. Because like I don't know if you've watched New Rockstar's video on it, but they're talking about he's like water is as important as their blood on this planet. So to have
Yeah.
water shoot out instead of blood, and I'm like, it's probably for the PG-13, but
Yeah. Cause at first I thought like, oh, they just hit like her water
the
pack or some
water
shit.
patch, yeah,
And
no,
I was like, oh, okay. But that makes sense because even Harvey, yeah, when he caught them, he's like, what can be more rich than the water in your flesh? Like,
right, you're not gonna bring anything to us,
right, what could be more
and that's the
valuable?
thing. I'm trying is like, and I think it's a thing of we don't want everyone to know that this is even a thing, but the fact that as soon as they're like, we're gonna kill the woman, and they go after her,
Mm,
she doesn't go stop, and like, because why wouldn't you know? It's like so it's a
right.
thing of like I'd be using that all day long, but
Oh
there's
God.
something. I mean, to keep myself alive if I needed to. That's exact. Yeah. So it's like it's interesting that she's like, I guess I don't need to at this moment, like, or like I'll use it as a last resort.
Right.
Um, but
I think
like,
it's growth, at least more for Paul's sake. It was like
sure,
he wouldn't be able to learn or anything if he just said, "Slit your throat" in the
yeah,
fight. It's like, oh
no,
shit,
of course,
right? But
and
with
that's what.
her, she's
Yeah,
like, I don't need to. I'm a badass without it. Like,
exactly. It's dope.
right? That's why the mom, well, the Reverend Mother, is like, your mother's outside. No one will get past her. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay, got it.
it's
I
awesome.
was like, why? I was like, oh, this bitch got voice, and apparently she's a badass. So I was like, heard it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also love just if I'm gonna just call out moments that I love when they're in the tent and that's when he's
Oh,
like seeing the future where the crazy weird fight and hit with him in that suit is
oh,
that's
yeah.
interesting still by the way. Like the CG in that mask doesn't look right. That's like the only time in the movie I'm like,
Yeah,
eh.
it's a little off.
But when he's like coming out of that vision and she's trying to help him and all of a
His
sudden
shit freaked me out. Yeah,
he's like, get off of me and like fuck like talk about everybody go like jumping because it hits you. And yeah, I like that
that
part.
startled
That's
me. I'm
where
not gonna lie. I was like,
yeah,
"Fuck, bitch."
yeah, because you're not expecting it at all because she's like being such a nice mother, and he's like,
Right,
"You made
and
me
it's
do this."
silent as fuck,
Yeah,
and then demon voice. I was like,
yeah,
"Whoa!"
it's really well done. And
You didn't Benson Jackson turn me into a freak. I was like, "Oh shit!"
it's like, God damn, son.
Right? You want to
Like, tell me
explain
how
how
you
you
really
really
feel.
feel? Yeah, because I was like, "Listen, for a scared little fuck, you got some bravado in your voice,
That's what
just
I
naturally.
mean. And
Do
so,
you real?" I was like,
and
"Oh shit!"
so that's what I'll say. At my boss and my coworker, they both are like, I watch Dune like once a year, the original, and they're
Mhm.
like, it's terrible, but it's fucking awesome. Like,
So weird.
and they're like, like when they saw this movie, both of them were like, I'm so excited to see what he's gonna become, because apparently we kind of get it there at the end where all of a sudden Paul's like, oh no, like I'm gonna like I'll go to the emperor and offer to marry his daughter, and this like all of a sudden he's like really empowered,
Right.
and
I was like, "Are
they're
you just going for gold, huh?"
like all of a sudden it's like from what my boss and coworkers say, it's like no, like that's who he becomes is like a badass leader who like he's going to be leading the Freeman type of situation, or at least a
The
group of them.
Freemans.
Yeah, the Bolgan Freemans. Um, but yeah, that's the more we talk about this movie, the more I want to watch it again.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hold you. I
Um,
kind of want to watch it again.
and that's the thing is like I don't want to watch it on fucking HBO Max because fuck HBO Max. But like the fact that I could throw it on my TV right now,
Yeah,
I want to do
it's
it.
annoying,
But also I want to watch that shit in IMAX forever and like
bro.
definitely
IMAX.
definitely a 4K Blu-ray buy so I can have the expanded aspect ratios. Um, but also it's like that was one thing too. I was going to ask you. I'm surprised with how much it swapped between IMAX and not. Um,
Same,
like
same,
little disappointing, honestly.
same.
Like
I thought the full thing was
would be an
all
IMAX,
IMAX. I was like,
and
wait, what are these fucking
because
bars?
there are widescaping shots in the desert that just decide to not be IMAX,
Yeah,
and I'm sitting there going, it's all CG past those points anyway.
yeah,
Expand it the fuck out. So I will admit,
yeah.
and this is on Denis, and I'll also say this too. It's only noticeable like strongly in certain spots, but I know that Denis shot this whole movie with digital IMAX cameras,
Mm,
similar to what the Russos shot both Infinity War and Endgame with. He put a filter over it in post to make it look like it was shot on film, to make it grainy.
mm.
And fuck that. I want the crispest, like most
Yeah,
incredible CG, like all that, like cinematography. I want it as crisp as possible. I really wish that because he was like, I want to pay homage to like the original movie and like the how long ago the book was. It's like, no, make this like you're making the most incredible CGI ever. Don't put a
yeah,
bunch of static over it.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, it worked, but at the same time, I would want to see like the crisp, unfiltered, like
right,
pure. But it definitely worked for the world he
sure.
was doing, especially
I
when it
just don't
came
think it
to
was
like the desert
necessary.
aspects. Yeah, I don't think so. It worked more efficiently in the desert aspects of things,
Yeah,
um, because of grain, sand is grainy, it gets
yeah,
everywhere in the cracks, all that stuff. Um, so I liked it for that reason. But yeah, that I was surprised to see some of the scenes with bars. I was like, what is this? Like,
yeah.
but the major things that needed to be had it. And I was like, okay, fine.
But like
Um,
the fact
yeah,
that the opening shot with Zendaya's voiceover saying with that beautiful the sand going over and you can
yeah,
see the spice in the air. That's not IMAX. I'm like that is a fully CG shot
yeah,
of some sand on some dunes.
yeah,
Why would you not give us this beautiful landscape to start? Very like what a weird choice.
yeah.
And that's just me. That's me being an absolute snob. But like
Oh yeah, but it's
I'm
still like you want that
I'm
immersion for
for
sure.
all like I want every movie for the rest of the time to be shot with IMAX cameras. And if you don't have an IMAX theater, that sorry, like
Yeah,
buy it on 4K
yeah, you're
Blu-ray
asked
and
out.
give you the full thing. Like that's what I want to happen. Because like Shang-Chi was all IMAX the whole time.
Yeah, it was
Like,
glorious,
I mean, come on, man. But yeah, I
glorious.
the more I think about Dune, the more I love it. I really do, and it's an interesting love because it's not like Luke Skywalker going through this journey or something like that. Like it's so different from the kinds of movies
Yeah,
that I expect, but like it really is it's like the guy that made Prisoners went and made a giant sci-fi movie. And
mm.
it makes me want to go and revisit Blade Runner 2049 because maybe I'm missing that feeling
Oh
because I
no,
was bored out of my
I'm not
fucking
missing a
mind
damn
out of that
thing.
movie.
Still bored. Not
That's what
missing
I
a thing.
mean. And so that's a problem.
Still
Um,
not missing a thing.
so
Um,
I
which
agree.
is good because maybe that was his deliberate. That was his learning curve. That was like, okay,
And
let
now
me
he's
try
figured
this
it
out.
out.
Figure it all out. Boom, Dune. Here you
Dune.
go. So we should be very thankful for Blade Runner in that instance
Correct.
because I guess we wouldn't have had it if he didn't make that boring
Good
ass.
point.
Yeah, so bad.
Beautiful, but boring.
Oh yeah, boring as all hell. And it's like I like this movie because this didn't feel, excuse me, like the runtime it was. If
Oh
that makes
no.
sense. Blade Runner, I was like, dear God, but
Is it yeah, is it over yet? Yeah,
yeah,
correct.
but this didn't feel like it because you're just so immersed in everything, and the performances carry you through, even if
Right.
you don't understand what the fuck's going on. Going on in the moment, it still carries you. Um, I know I'll never fucking tweet during a thing before because goddamn,
What were you doing? I will not feel bad.
I was like, God damn. Cause it was to the moment when they was flying to Arrakis. They were just flying through the desert. Nothing was going on. I was like, all right, let me just put this. I was like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. And I didn't know fucking set the world on fire.
Because
I'm like,
first of all,
Jesus.
I am most definitely that person that if I see a phone screen on in a theater for more than 5 seconds, I'm gonna be like, put that shit up. Like, just give one of those out, and because they exactly know who I'm talking to. Like, because it takes me immediately out. Like, my eye goes straight to it.
Oh, I'd
And
take
so,
my brightness down. I never
so,
put it. That's rude.
but that's the it doesn't matter because we're in pitch black. Any screen is a screen. Like people with their Apple Watches on, those light up all day long, and it pisses me off that they don't turn them off because I see them.
It was funny 'cause I was dying in the movie theater because it's like I saw the. 'Cause I got notified on. I think I'm on Do Not Disturb.
Right.
So when I did put it up, and the first notification I saw was "Get off your fucking." I was like, God damn!
It's like you
I
might
was
understand it better if you weren't scrolling. But yeah, I was like, get off your
hilarious.
fucking phone.
Yeah, that was pretty hilarious. I was like, this asshole. But he's right. So I got up and I was like, okay, cool.
Because you got to be immersed. You allowed yourself to get unimmersed.
Because I know what the fuck was going on. I was like, because
You're not
I
supposed
wasn't.
to.
Because I was like, I wanted this movie to, because like visually I'm just so all in, but I'm not invested in the story because I know what the fuck's going on for the whispers and the fucking mother and shit.
Right.
But like, I'm not invested and I'm mad about that. So that's why I did that. But but yeah, if I knew it was gonna spark all that shit, it was hilarious.
What-
And you
one
and the
thing
Kenny and all everybody.
One thing I'll say that was funny that with Kenya in the theater it was hilarious because I'm guessing maybe he might because I know at least he wore glasses at some point, so I'm guessing he has contacts. Like maybe he has like sensitive eyes or something. But there would randomly be a spot where like Paul is doing something and it's dark, and then all of a sudden it's a vision, and it's daylight on Arrakis. Like there's one full IMAX shot of Zendaya. It's a stunning shot somehow of her just standing there, kind of slowly walking, but it's like white sky, and she's just walking on the rocks. Every time that happened, he'd go, God. Like right when it would hit, he'd be like, bright. Like, and it was so, because it took me out, but it's funny because he's like, oh, like it would like hit him hard, and I'm like, like that's the point, because that was one thing too. Is like Hannah was like, I wouldn't even know when he's in vision and when he's not, and I'm like, it's pretty fucking obvious, babe. Like, because you get like a monstrous change in what everything looks like. But
right,
sorry, like maybe you need to watch it again.
Oh man,
yeah, that was, it was funny because then I had him sitting there vocally going, God, like every time, and I'm like, yeah, Hannah, like motherfucker, like that shit was bright as fuck for no reason. He said so.
Country ass, go. But yes, want to be spoon fed sometimes, motherfucker. I don't know what's going on, so world, give me something to work off. I'm like, oh, cool, got it. But once I did, I was like, okay, fine. So I think it's one of those movies that will hopefully grow on me the more I watch it.
Yeah.
And get more of that appreciation. Because the second time around, I was like, okay, now that I know what's going on, understand who these people are, the different races, houses, all this shit.
Yeah.
I was like, cool. Because it's not like it was just some English, oh, this is the house of Brian. This is the fucking house of
Yeah, you're
John.
so right.
I'm like, huh? It's the fucking house of Vago with the race of Boobagdabadu. I'm like, okay.
They're like the Bene Gesserits. And you're like, the what now? Like
every fuck yes. I'm like, can you say it slow? Bene Gesserit. And everything around the tissue. I'm like, what?
Because I still like.
Oh my god.
It is very tough, but it's so it's so real in the sense of this. But like, whatever the Fremen call the one that ends with Gaib or whatever, that whole little thing.
The Lizana Gaib.
Yeah, and Zendaya's over here. I don't believe that you're the Lizana Gaib, but it's like it just keeps going on. I'm like, how the fuck did she just do that? But also, like, they couldn't have just said the one. But it is a thing of like, if you go like on one planet on Earth, if I go from America to Spain, the word school bus is completely different, and it's like obviously on planets across the galaxy, they're going to be wild. And so it's like, I'm immersed, but also my dumbass can't follow the words yet, you know? And so there is definitely a learning curve.
And that's why I was trying to catch up and learn what everything was. Okay, so there's fly by the shit, and it's like, only serve one master. It needs the whatever the fuck the the worm god was. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And it's like, I like clarity. Only Jason Momoa, Oscar Isaacs, and everybody else was clear in the enunciation and pronunciation and talking.
Yeah.
Timothy's whispering through the whole thing. She has to be like, and all that shit. The mother, every time she talks, it's like soft whimper, and it always feels like she's whistling in the middle of everything. It's like, I'm like, okay, what are you saying? So like the Reverend Mother was there. Like I had to put subtitles on the shit because like
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you saying? You have to do everything the Reverend Mother tells you. I'm like, whoa, what? And it was like, you have to do everything the Reverend Mother tells you. But she
Correct.
just sped through the shit. I'm like,
You
what did
could,
she just
but
say?
you couldn't have caught that
Oh
because
no,
it's definitely one that runs all together. But once you hear it and you're like, okay, I know exactly what she just said
because
after the
she's
fact.
frantic in so many things that she says when she's
Right.
not just like, even when she's calm scene, she's like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm like,
So
bitch,
that's also where I think
are
that
you
there
trying
is
to
a point
whistle?
to. I think that it's a point to say people with the voice that are not the Reverend Mother are like
You're stupid.
they kind of go soft on their voice. Reverend Mother's like
Yeah,
Neil, like,
hard pronunciation,
and
right?
it's because she's top dog. And like I think that there is a point. But yes, there was a part in the movie in the box scene after he gets up and she's like your birthright is this, and he's like, why? Because I'm a Duke's son. And she's like, no, because you're Jessica's son. You have more
There's
than
one
one
more
birthright,
birthright, boy.
boy. And during that line, one of the fucking Baylor guys that would not stop, by the way, coughing the whole fucking movie, pissing me off, especially during the times that we're in. I'm like, go home. Like,
Right.
but he coughed right during her saying that. And Devin leaned over and said, she's calling him a white boy? I said, no. I bust out laughing though. It's like, oh my God, like, got
Oh
more than
shit.
one birthright, white boy.
That'd have been hilarious. She should have said
It's
that.
like,
Shit.
God damn.
You have more than one birthright, white boy. I was like, oh shit. I was like, okay, my bad.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
funny. Like
god.
growing up in the South, I've definitely been called white boy more
Oh,
times than I can count, man. It's like,
I'm sure they crossed that shit over to the Dune universe
yeah.
thousands of years
So
in the making.
he's like, God damn. He's like, I thought she called him that. Like, I was like, no. It's like,
That
I
would
would
that
thought
would have
so.
been great. Oh my
Yeah.
god, I would have laughed so hard. But yeah, that was only it. So I hope everyone goes up a few octaves in the next movie, and then we'll be great. Everything will be fine. But yeah. So I guess if there's nothing else to add on that one, I'm sure we'll
I
come up with
think
shit
that's
later.
it. Yeah.
That was my run on Dune, man. Congratulations, Denis, for making
Yeah.
a masterful achievement.
Yes.
Oscar chances.
Motherfucker better win for effects. First of all, I mean, if it better.
I mean, what dumb shit won last year? That was like what? Oh, it was First Man, wasn't it?
It wasn't last year. First Man was like 2018.
What the fuck?
1917 won.
Last year?
Yeah. 2020.
Okay, that's cool.
It's a weird
Okay.
one because the effects in that one are very similar, where you don't realize that they are using effects to cut every single shot together in beautiful fashion.
Yeah.
Let me go to 2019.
It's also the thing for Parasite did that shit too. Their CGI was insane.
First Man won in 19.
Yeah, over fucking Infinity War, wasn't it? I was like, this is stupid.
And then Blade Runner won in 2018, 2049. So,
Oh.
but
We'll see.
What I mean so best director, very possible.
Yeah, I think you'll get director. You can make a fight for picture if it picks up a lot of ground. You can make that. You can do like a for your consideration type thing.
It'll probably get nominated, but I don't think it'll win.
Yeah, no.
Because I always struggle when it comes to Oscar stuff because it's all fucking stupid anyway. But then I almost never watch the true like Oscar bait movies.
Me either.
Like I skip right past them.
They're annoying, most likely. Yeah, 9 times out of 10. I'm like,
super
what is
artsy
this
stuff
shit?
is rough on me. Like, because like Green Knight, if you think this was tough to follow, watch the Green Knight. you will be going, oh my, like you talk about spoon fed, you'll think Dune was spoon fed to you like a toddler after you watch The Green Knight, because that thing is
I'm
definitely
sure.
not meant for you to be able to understand that shit at all. Like it's
Yeah. See, that
wild,
just sounds
but it's such an Oscar movie. Like
annoying.
I bet you that gets like Dev Patel will get nominated, director get nominated, effects will get nominated, cinematography should win. Honestly, probably for that. Um,
Hmm.
it's the most like beautiful movie I've ever seen in terms of visuals, but it's a weird ass movie, man. So weird.
So yeah, Green Knight, Dune, and I think Last Duel are like for sure things. Just because it's Ridley Scott making a period piece, that's like automatic for them. It's
But
like,
you got
okay,
House of Gucci too from him.
damn, I forgot. Oh, he's fucking okay.
Yeah,
Excuse me, I forgot he directed that
and
too.
it's wild, isn't it? Within a couple
Son,
months.
father, House of Gucci. I'm like, oh god.
Golly, fucking poker face.
You say fucking poker face?
Go take a ride on your disco stick, Gaga.
Oh my god, yeah, that's we'll see. F9 Best Picture. Goddamn right. There you go.
Best picture.
Nominated.
Yeah, they'll have their own. The best picture.
Right. And for the Fast Picture, it goes to.
And Vin will come up there. This is for family.
This is for family. This is for everybody. This is for Pedro. This is for everybody. I'm like, okay.
For
Pablo.
Dwayne,
Sorry, Pablo.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Right. That'll be some shit. Best actor in the franchise. Dwayne Johnson, Fast and Furious. Oh my god, they fucking go crazy. All right, y'all. So we're here at the point. Let us know in the comment section what you got. This is our time to speak and talk to you all. Let us know what you got, what subjects you want to bring up, anything that we've missed. Now is your time. If you made it this far, if you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button, thumbs up, and notification bell to be reminded when all episodes air every week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Times are subject to change. We'll let you know if they do. But yeah, so what y'all got in the comment section? Y'all see y'all was very involved in the Dune talk, which I expected.
That another line from Devin during the movie. As soon as they show the sandworm on like the wall that's like gold,
Oh yeah.
he goes, that's a booty hole, like out loud. That's what he said. And I'm like, oh god, here we go.
This man is stupid. I cannot. Fan cast. I guess I can see Javante. No, why not? I don't care much about the characters. They can do whatever they want. But Javante would be a good thing I can see. Let's see. And yes, I've seen Starship Troopers. It's fucking a classic. Do you want to know more? You've seen Starship Troopers, right?
I know what it is.
Okay. This is getting ridiculous. This is getting absolutely ridiculous. In his Pegasus suit. What is this, Wonder Woman 84 now? Oh, Father. Let's see. Oh,
Ooh.
Army of Thieves, apparently. Some of our fellow comrades are saying it's not bad and are actually enjoying it.
Yeah, but the guys that
surprised me.
They like a lot of movies.
Give it hope. You never know. It could
no
surprise you.
I fully expect it to be funner and probably better directed than its other franchise member.
Its predecessor.
Well, it's a prequel though, so I didn't know if predecessor worked.
Well, it should be because it still came before it. I guess that's. I don't know.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Score for Dune.
Oh yeah,
Oscars.
score. That score is fucking ridiculous.
Hans Zimmer, like it's one of those things where it's like you hear of a movie and it's like, oh, they got fucking Hans Zimmer. Thank God.
Yeah.
And it just works out.
And he's back for part 2, right?
Yeah. He even said like he's got music that he didn't use in this one. So like,
oh,
that's dope.
Yes, that man knows
But
how to put together a movie.
can I just say one thing? Like, I love the last note that the woman is screaming for this movie. That it's the same woman that's going, "No, no, no, no," but
that shit.
for the end, it's like way up there, and she's
Yeah,
just
it's different.
like it's so like mean sounded. Like, I don't know how she's able to like throat voice that note, but it sounds awesome.
Not throat voice.
I mean, because I would call it, because she's got that rasp and like a high fucking note. It's mean.
Yeah. That speaking of, that bitch startled the fuck out of me when she was giving, oh, it's a gift, from the tooth of, and then she's out of nowhere. She's like, ah! I was like, what the fuck? I was like, whoa.
I saw her, if you watch it again, her nostrils start flaring like a
Yeah.
motherfucker, man. Like, she's like, ah! It's
I
like,
was
she
what
just
the fuck is
come?
wrong with you, right? Bitch, when you've been raised by revelation, or the thought of revelation comes to a shock. I'm like, bitch, you mean an orgasm? It was the most.
She's like,
Yeah, because she's literally having a whole conversation like, yes, it was meant as a gift, and then it was made from the tooth of the great worm god, and then she's like, yeah, from such and such Messiah, and she's just like, I was like, what the fuck? This mid conversation, bitch. Like,
Yeah. Oh my
how did
God.
we get here? Like,
Oh,
it threw
yeah.
me all the way off.
What do you
my
think about
God.
the stills that were released for No Way Home?
That shit was stupid.
Oh my
I'm like,
God,
who
man.
put this out? Like, it almost looked like a high schooler was testing out Photoshop for the first time. It's like,
Right.
look what I did. Because
Yeah.
you have like Spider-Man just like
In motion.
all
You can't even see
blurry.
his hands because, yeah, they're all
Right.
nasty.
And then Doc Ock's in the back all like
Just the
like,
nastiest CG model, looks nothing like the motherfucker at all.
right. I'm like, why would you put this out? Like,
Yeah.
this looks like trash. And
Agreed.
it was so bad. So I'm like, okay, that
And
made me want to scream like that woman.
Then you get the other still of him like crouching down. And the more
Yeah.
people say it, I do think that he's sitting there at Doc Ock's reactor thing.
Yeah, because they have those little fucking little holes.
That, but then also there's like a reflection behind him on the ground that looks like a little sun looking, like, I don't know, man. It was fucking, I don't know, I'm in.
Apparently he shot a scene with somebody really cool and all that shit. So
With what he said there, I think it's Charlie Cox.
Will be dope. I'll lose my fucking mind. I'll be just like that bitch.
Because the reason, because he said it, because what did he say? It's with 4 people, and one of them's Aunt May. And so
I guess I didn't read it because I didn't want to know what happened. Hints.
So, but that makes sense that it's the lawyer, because they're all arrested and shit. So I was like, oh my God, if it's all fucking Daredevil,
I'll be sounding like that bitch from Dune. Like if he pops up on your screen, I'm like, it's Charlie fucking Cox. Like, that's exactly what I do.
When it comes to you, it's a shock.
When it comes to me, when he wanted Daredevil for so long, the thought of it is a shock. It's like, oh my God, Rich.
Just think your arms straight out.
Right. People looking at that like, what the fuck? He just comes in, hey, Matt Murdock. We're like, what the fuck?
Oh man. Fantastic.
Oh my God. So yes, Kenya. So Quiet Place. I tweeted about this literally right before the show.
Yeah.
There's only one way I want this game made. If you do not make it this way, do not even think about fucking making it. If you have a game called The Quiet Place, literally have it headphone operable. That's the only way to play that shit. If you make a fucking sound, like, you are fucked. I want this so immersive. I want you to revolutionize gaming. Make it work. I don't want none of that. Don't move the controller. Fuck that. Put your mic on. You scavenging through the lands of wherever you're at. You make a sound when the time that needs to. You are fucked. Like, that's the only way that game should be made.
I definitely see what you're saying. That would be interesting. That would be it would be out there to do that. But like,
yes.
Because so here's the thing though that you got to realize why this is more than likely going to happen. All these now, they have mic in them. So you can't help it. So then the reason why I don't think they could do it, if I'm playing in the living room and my fiance comes in, hey, you want dinner? And I just get fucking destroyed. You're done, So like, you
Oh,
gotta think about
that's
that
your
too.
fault. That's
I
your
mean,
fault.
it could be, but
Be aware
I
of your
like
surroundings.
I suspect, because you got to remember that these have to be able to be played by like 13-year-olds.
No, fuck
I
them.
suspect that to be like, if you want to go on the hardest mode, you add that in.
Fuck that. 13-year-olds should be
So,
playing Fortnite or some shit. Get the hell out
well,
of
they're
here.
also doing that.
Right. So it's like, you don't have to be about the whole game. They can be like walk through and in sections where like your controller starts getting like shaking or whatever, and then okay, I gotta shut the fuck up because they're like near.
And then I just reach down and just mute the mic. So
right, cheating asses. Right.
That's the thing. So it's
that'll be funny. Make it a mechanism to you cannot mute it. Mute does not work in this function of gaming. That'll be awesome. Oh my god, the gameplays of those would be hilarious. Oh my god, to watch.
That's correct.
Sony announcing 2 untitled Spider-Man movies, 23rd in June and October 6th. Oh yeah. Oh, I missed that one.
Oh, you haven't heard about that? So it's not Spider-Man movies. It's
Spider-Universe.
Universe. So, people are suspecting Spider-Woman or, something like that, possibly. Venom 3, probably that October release.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, and I did see in the Batman and IMAX was pretty cool.
Yes. It's the last trailer that plays, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did that shit on purpose.
Oh, yeah, of course. I was like, okay, not bad.
So I was going to talk to you about that too. So
bad.
How do you feel about that movie not having expanded ratio, like shot in IMAX? Like, if it's not, because it's not confirmed, yes or no, but I'm thinking probably not.
I don't think it is. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Gotham City isn't something I'm like, I need to see the whole landscape of a Dune type thing of a whole new world we've never been.
Correct.
It's fucking Chicago. Like it's like whatever. So it's fine. And I don't think the film is going to be that grand in scale like that anyway.
So
to make a difference.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Is like I think that he's going more like this is a detective noir, whatever.
Yeah.
Because I will always choose, give me the full frame, always. But I can see him going like, hey, I like it to be, you want to feel claustrophobic type of thing. And so instead of giving them room to breathe, like, no, this is the framing, whether you're watching it in IMAX or not type of scenario. So I was just going to ask you that because I was talking to my cousin about that, stuff like that. And because my cousin and I both are like IMAX till we die, basically.
All day.
I mean, I will literally, that is the only way I want to watch a movie is in IMAX. So it's kind of funny, but.
Or Dolby if I'm too late.
Right. And that's the thing. If it's not shot in IMAX, then I can play with that, but if a movie is shot like No Time to Die, we got a brand new theater here in my town that just opened up, a Cinemark, and it's got every theater is recliners. And the thing about it is my theater that I've been going to that has an IMAX is an AMC. So it's run down as fuck. It's run down as fuck. They have no employees because AMC just almost went under not long ago. So they can't afford to pay anyone or fix anything up, but it's IMAX. And, but then this new theater is all recliners and stuff like that. And so Hannah was like, you want to go see No Time to Die in that theater? And I was like, no, because it was shot in IMAX and it looks fucking incredible in IMAX. I'm not about to miss out on that for no reason. So, but we did go see The Last Duel there. And that was how I saw that in some recliners.
I'm trying to find a picture of the IMAX theater to show you what the fuck are we talking about?
Like your seats?
Yeah, what the theater looks like the screen and all that shit.
Well, no, I know what it looks. I've been to an IMAX with laser that is, the 6-story tall
Oh,
thing.
okay.
But I've never been to like a 70 millimeter showing of something. But Dallas has, I think, the only IMAX with laser in Texas. Um, and like I think I saw like Captain Marvel there. That's where I saw Batman v Superman. Was in that theater, but I don't even know if laser was a thing yet when that came out. But anyway, what is funny about that place is like I like seeing Captain Marvel there. It's weird. I prefer mine, which mine is dual projectors, but not IMAX with laser. And IMAX with laser is dual projectors, and it's like two 4K images on top of each other. And that one in Dallas, it's like blurry to me, just slightly.
Gross.
And I don't know if it's just me or not, because I asked Hannah, and she's like, oh, I didn't notice. And I'm like, well, you weren't fucking looking. I should have brought it up during the movie. Like I'm like, you don't pay attention to that. But like the few movies I've seen in IMAX there, I'm like, man, I just feel like it doesn't look right. Like I don't know if they have it calibrated right. So it's a thing of whenever I come to New York City, something better be playing in IMAX because we're going to, it's at Lincoln Square.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I'm doing it.
Glorious.
Just like if I'm going to LA, like I need to go to like at least see the Chinese and like the El Capitan, like all that. Like if I can see a movie there, awesome. But like I know for a fact I need to go to Lincoln Square and see something in IMAX.
We have to plan a fucking trip, man.
I know, man.
Something.
I hear you.
We do. And can you bring your big country ass too?
Well, maybe when you get a goddamn couch, I'll have something to. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, yes. Then there's that.
I'm gonna show up while I'm on the floor.
Right, like welcome to my hardwood floor.
Yeah, just go and take a seat.
You thought your back was fucked up now.
I only have one pillow, so
right, and my ass been all over it. So
we can both do one cheek on the pillow if you want.
Facts. Movie of the year so far.
Oh man, movie of the year. I mean,
yours.
As of right now, it probably is Dune. I just saw like somebody tweeted out earlier and said rank these, and it was Dune, No Time to Die, Shang-Chi, and Venom.
Yeah,
and that's my order. Because I really enjoyed fucking No Time to Die. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I just saw a guy today who's a friend of my coworkers, and he's like, have y'all seen No Time to Die yet? And they were like, no, I haven't. And he's like, don't fucking watch that bullshit. It's not even a Bond movie. They've ruined everything. And I'm like, hey, man, I completely disagree. I was like, what you got? And he's like, it's not Bond at all. And he's like, he starts talking about all the old ones. And I'm like, oh, I haven't seen any of those pieces of shit. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, what's up, man? Keep going. I'm like, first one shot in IMAX. The first one he dies. I'm like, first one with fucking heart too, man. Like, first Bond that has any good, like I started like messing with him like hard. And he's like, he's from Britain. He's English. He's like, oh, how dare you? Like, he was like, and this is a guy though, he's super weird. And like, he thinks any movie that's not in black and white is like garbage. He's like classic cinema. And I'm like, yeah, what's up, man? I'm like, he dies. Like, how you like that? And he's like, this is a rule of 007. And I'm like, yeah, fuck that.
I'm like,
fuck rules.
Yeah, it's so fucking
I was messing
ridiculous.
with him so bad.
Okay, so Dune. Okay.
I'm trying to think of more, but because it's been a weird year. But what's yours?
F9. No.
How about FU?
For me, it's Shang-Chi. I've had so much fun with that. Like, it's utterly ridiculous. And obviously there are better quality films like fucking
right
Dune and all that shit. But
sure,
Shang-Chi just took me by a whole complete surprise, bro. Like just the amount of times I went to see it in the theaters, how much I loved it, and it's like that's my movie of the year so far. But like I said, there's so much to go through.
Because Quiet Place 2 is definitely up there too, but
still haven't seen that shit. I need to see it.
Holy shit!
It's also not it's on DVD now, but I haven't gotten it yet. But
yeah,
it's not on like any streaming shit yet or anything.
No.
You have to pay for. Worst movie of the year. That one's tough.
I mean, That is really tough. Theatrical? Are we sticking to strictly theatrical?
Yes. Well,
Because
no,
Army of the Dead is terrible,
no.
but I think I actually would probably go with F9.
Shit.
Yeah, and then Venom.
The disrespect.
Well, so
For me, it's Venom. I'm sorry.
so or Fast 9, Army of the Dead, Venom, for me.
Oh, Venom takes the cake for me. That was the worst of the so
They're all garbage. I mean,
disappointing. It's ridiculous. I'll watch Fast 9 all fucking day. So did you say Black Widow and F9 is top? Are you on crack, Kenya?
Black Widow's not great.
It ain't.
It's not that bad,
What? Right. You're fucking insane.
but
Dear God, that's not even what
ScarJo
you
herself. I mean,
said. Fucking love Black Widow.
yeah,
Dear God, that's another one that I really was surprised how much I love. I love Black Widow. But yeah, comparing it to F9 in the word, that's ridiculous.
that's a lot, but
Yeah, but it's Kenya. He's a lot.
yeah,
Like,
correct.
big dramatic ass.
Oh no, I'm about to absolutely gaslight him. Here's what he told me. This is some crazy shit.
He
was like-
gaslights himself, so go ahead.
He was like, hold on. He's like, I got to tell you right now, I'm so weird, bro. He goes, you go. He's like, you remember when you were watching Watchmen for the first time? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I'd never seen it, so I was watching it along with you. Like when you said you watched an episode, I watched one, and I was like, I was sick. And he goes, and you were loving it, and all that. And he's like, I was watching this, one of the greatest things I've seen, all that. He goes, I still haven't watched the finale. And I was like, what? And he's like, there's no second season. And when a show's about to end like that, I don't want to watch the finale because I don't want that world to be over. And he's like, I can't do it. And I was like, fuck that. I'm like, so don't say anything spoilery. I do not play COD, Andrew.
He
garbage.
doesn't. I got it from that son, bitch, and you don't play for it. You never played it.
Oh god, yeah, I know. It was so. I tried to play it one time. I was like, holy shit, I was so bad. But yeah. So Kenya doesn't watch, like, he hasn't seen the finale, and I was like, hey man, I was like, if
That's
it makes
insane.
you, I was like, I'm not. I like if this is a slight spoiler, but kind of, I was like, it does leave it open ended in a really exciting way. So like, watch it. And I was like, and also once you watch it, you're gonna want to watch the whole thing over again. I was like, then don't watch the finale again, you piece of shit. I was like, then decide not to.
Right, you cannot not watch the fucking finale, bro. Like,
isn't that the craziest thing? Like,
it's so beautiful.
Oh. Like all the movies that he really loves, he's seen them one time, and if it's a series, he won't finish it because he doesn't want the world to be over.
You can fucking love Bat Nipples. You can watch the finale of Watchmen. All right.
I mean, it's so good. I'm sitting there going, like, there's reveals in that like they've been right in front of your face the whole time. Because there was even one that like I pointed out to you, and you were like, oh shit.
I keep trying. He also doesn't have an Xbox.
Okay, well, that's very true.
Well, we can cross play, but we just have to be on that shitty fucking talking thing.
Correct.
Party for them.
What's it called?
But I'd be trying, Andy, to get him on there.
I haven't played a game in so long. It's terrible. I need to finish Ghost of Tsushima.
Because he would fit into our group perfectly for fucking COD. It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's pretty insane. If I really love the world that's built, I don't want it to be over. Or listen, you need to get over these commitment issues.
I know.
Let it go.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Let it go, Elsa. Okay.
Just please, like, do it for me. Like, we'll have you like come talk about it or something. Like, so we'll force you to do it.
Right. But it's so fun. Yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh God,
So he's only seen Logan once.
Only seen it once, and then I don't want to taint my first impression of a movie. Why would you taint it? It's not gonna change. It's already glorious.
So what was funny was he was like, "Oh man," he's like, "Yeah, I've only seen Infinity War once," and I was like, "Man," he's like, "Because I don't want to find something, I don't want to find something that messes it up for me." And I was like, "Oh well, here's a big plot hole," and I told him, I was like, Doctor Strange has the sling ring the whole time, so whenever they're on the Titan ship after they get rid of Ebony Maw, and they're like, how are we going to get back? And like, I guess we're on our way to Titan and all that. He can just open a portal and get them right back.
Yeah,
but he doesn't. And he uses the sling ring all over Titan. And that's also portals in Endgame is nothing but portals from the Sling Ring. And
Very,
guess what?
very true.
It's a big ass plot hole. It's like, but your movie's still fucking good, man. Like,
This movie's glorious.
yeah. So
Most impactful and saddest death. Tony, Logan, Bond sad, but not to the detriment of those two.
no,
What do you think?
yeah.
Logan or Tony?
Damn.
The movies that make grown men cry. Which ones?
That is
Thank
really
you for the
tough,
birthday
actually.
wishes, you bastards.
I mean, fuck. That's really tough, actually. I feel like they celebrate it better in Endgame, obviously, to like make it feel more impactful. Whereas Logan's feels more tragic and like almost like sad in the sense of like it's kind of small. Like he died fighting himself, which is glorious in a way, but also like sad. So I think in terms of like impact, I would probably go with RDJ because I mean he literally saves the universe with it too, and then it's just tragic.
Yeah.
And the fact that his wife then comes down and is like and sends him off, that's what'll make you cry. Not him laying there, but when she shows up.
Yeah.
What about you?
It's Tony all day.
Okay, good.
I cried like a ridiculous bitch in that theater. Like ridiculous. That'll always be like an experience for me. Like it was a lot, dude. And I remember I was with my ex at the time.
Oh, good.
We were together and all that shit. So that's also a moment shared. We both were like, but it was. I never cried like that. I put on full Viola Davis. It was a lot.
Snot and all, just eating your boogers
Snot,
and
lump
shit.
in the throat. Couldn't say nothing. Like the tears rolling, everything. I was like, holy shit.
So that didn't make me cry because I anticipated it. But whenever Cap is about to like sacrifice himself, and it's him versus an army, and then portal starts opening, that part.
Oh, I cried to that too all the time.
That is like. I get so like it's emotional is the word. Like I'm just like, oh my God, like the feeling that invokes in me is so it really is a testament to the MCU itself.
Oh yeah.
That's
those two moments always a cry for me.
That is why I'm like so excited to get to that point in these books here. Because I already did learn something, which they've been doing reports on it. Because that's what's funny is like people are trying to spoil this book for me by reading it faster than me and writing articles about it. But Kevin Feige, you know how Infinity War ends and all that's left is the OGs almost. Like it's basically all the OGs.
Yeah.
He wanted all of them to die originally. He wanted it to be a Toy Story 3 moment where they all have to jump into the furnace. And and the Russos were like, hold on, man, like please no. Because they were like, and very good points, but they said, we don't think we can service each character and make it meaningful for them all in one movie like that.
Yeah, because that's a lot.
And right. And so it's like, pick two. But that's the thing is when RDJ had to re-sign a contract for Civil War and beyond, they gave him the whole story. Like he knew from before he filmed Civil War that he was supposed to die in the 4th Avengers movie. And they were like, the Russos had to go sell him on it and pitched him the whole thing. And they were so nervous. They said, like, I've never been so nervous because like he owns his character. He can veto pretty much any of this if he wants. Yeah. And we will respect it. And so awesome. they went and they because they had to do the same thing with ScarJo after this, and it wasn't as good of a reaction, but she was like, I guess you gotta die at some point, is like literally the quote that she had. But for RDJ, they were like, they went to his house and went on the porch and gave him the whole story that they had to the point of like, here's what your character is going to do.
So they literally endgame him.
And
well, no, the porch literally telling the whole thing.
And
trying to convince him.
And they said he was just bawling. And they were like, well, what do you think? And he said, that's fucking awesome, is what the actual quote that he said was. He was like, he's like, let's do it. And so they, he signed that extension, and that wasn't including the Homecoming because that was Sony. But like
Mm.
he was like, I'm so in, and it's fucking dope.
Oh,
But then
that's awesome.
going to so then also with Haley Atwell for Peggy,
Mm.
they are fully saying, which I haven't watched any of it, but the Agent Carter series that was on ABC, they're
Mm.
saying that's fully canon. That was actually produced by Marvel Studios, not just Marvel TV. Um, but that got canceled after 2 seasons. And they said, I think it was the day after, like, it got canceled. They went to her and were like, here's how we want Endgame to end. And like said, like, we're gonna bring you back, and like he's gonna come back to you and like have y'all do your first dance. And she's like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, you serious? Like, she couldn't believe they were gonna like go full circle. And she was like, am I really that meaningful of a character? She was like, I was in one movie really. And they're like, it's Steve's story. Like, he has to go back to you because he gave up everything and he deserves to go back. And she was like, she was talking about how like so meaningful it was to her to like feel like, she's like, there's so many other amazing women here. And she's like, but they're gonna end it on my face. And like she was like, it's unreal. And I fucking like,
That's pretty dope,
I
actually.
love that shit. So like that's the kind of tidbits that these books are giving me, that like it's fucking awesome. Like it really is.
Did you see how Chris Evans spoiled Captain America for Mackie before he even found out? He let it slip.
Oh yes,
So
yes,
he
yes.
found out to that shit.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, I'll give you the shield. And he's
He's like,
like,
how's it feel
what?
to get the shield, man? He's like, what? He's like, yeah, man, the scene. He's like, I get the shield? He's like, yeah, man, I give it to you. He's like, oh.
He's
I was like,
like,
oh, yeah.
holy shit.
That's hilarious. I
See,
mean, if there's
I'm
any better
fully
way.
expecting,
Okay.
like when I actually get to Infinity War and Endgame here, I fully expect to like get all those, because like that's the thing too, is like when they announced, do you remember when they did the big thing? It's like when they changed Serpent Society to Civil War at the end of the big showcase to like show the slate for phase 3, and they announced
Mm.
Infinity War part 1, part 2.
Yeah.
And it was like the cinematic with Thanos, that the Thanos from Guardians and getting the gauntlet and all that. And at that time, all they knew was that it was going to be Thanos and there were going to be Infinity Stones in it. They had no story, but they announced those movies and they were like, now we have to do it. And like,
Damn.
that's fucking insane.
Yeah,
Y'all are idiots. But thank God. And it's funny because then it all became, Feige kept going, y'all better stick the landing. Like he kept saying that to where the code names for both movies, part 1, part 2, were like a very famous American gymnast in the Olympics from the 80s, whatever her name is. Like I think it's Mary Sue. So Infinity War was Mary Sue 1 and Endgame was Mary Sue 2, because you got to stick the landing. And so it was like any page of that script told them to stick the landing. And he's like, it's so important. But it's also like, it's kind of a dick move there, but like,
oh yeah, but you know what's at stake, because like you also set the
but
shit up. So now
also
you gotta...
it fucking worked. Like they did it. So
yeah,
good on them.
oh, well, speaking of your Hulk, Kenya, he's getting his own little Planet
Right.
Hulk
That'll be
thing
interesting.
going on there. Now that he's back to fucking normal randomly. Can't believe I forgot to bring that up the whole time. I like, in Sean shit, like, you just normal now? Like, what happened? Like, that made me upset. I was randomly thinking about that one day.
I actually do think that it was like, we don't want to pay for Hulk. And
But it's like, so what is he going to be in She-Hulk? Like, just regular Banner now again?
So that's
Are they going to explain it?
No, he will probably be Hulk again. Like, which will be dumb.
That would be dumb. It never crossed my mind until the day I tweeted that. I'm like, wait, this motherfucker was human.
And also,
in Shang-Chi.
Would you concur that he looks old as fuck in that scene? Like,
he looks a little off.
He looks like, I almost think they added
because he's not that
age, because he does
old.
not look like that in real life.
Yeah, no.
So that was weird. So I'm wondering if like they were trying to do that, like saying the stones, because he's still in a sling, which is dumb as shit. Like They literally brought Mark in and were like, "Hey, we're gonna give you a sling and just go with it." He's like, "Okay."
Well, because his arm's still fucked up.
Well, yeah, but
From the
like
snap.
he's sitting there going, "Oh, I don't have to get in the spandex," and they're like, "Nah, we'll just put you in a sling." Like, is really what I think happened. So I don't know.
I get it. It's just weird. But I'm interested to see what they do at Planet Hulk. I know Kenya is like the
All
world's
over.
biggest advocate for just like they fucking destroyed Hulk.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe you'll get your wish in this one and it pans out. Who knows? All right. I think it's a good spot to
I
end.
believe it is.
Very, very good show.
I agree.
Very good show. Very involved. Thank you guys for joining us for the Film Cape episode 46. We're getting close to 50, man.
Yes,
We're
sir.
getting close to 50, and I'm all here for it. We want to thank you guys on whatever platform you're watching on, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, whatever. We thank you. We hope to see you here next week. You already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up. Really helps this show reach a lot more people.
Yes, it
And
does.
hit that notification bell to be reminded when all episodes air. You don't want to miss it. Share the word. We appreciate you coming through, y'all. And yeah, brother Logan, what you got? Tell the people, let them know.
Yeah, man. You can follow me on Twitter right up here, Logan_Swish. I've got Patreon over there. I need to talk about Ted Lasso more. I'm watching Ted Lasso season 2. That show is fucking incredible. Like, I wish it wasn't on Apple TV because no one fucking has that, and they shouldn't because it's just another streaming service. But oh my god, like I've never had a show that truly like just takes my like it has a firm grasp on my emotions and can make me go wherever it wants me to go.
Right.
So highly recommend the show. If anybody has Apple TV Plus, please watch Ted Lasso. It's incredible. Yeah, so we've got that. I need to do DC animated movies more. I get married in 18 days. So it's coming up quickly.
Oh my god,
So
yes.
it's
Oh my
fucking
god.
insane right now. So shit's batshit at the moment. So yeah, so
yes, you're coming up on
trying
that. That's
trying to
right.
make time. It's really wild. Like the stress is at a very high number at the moment. I don't want to say 10 because it'll probably get worse.
Really wish it wasn't the same time in fucking Vegas.
I hear you. Well, it's also been a thing that it was supposed to be a small wedding, and now it is not. And we're like worried about having enough of everything. So I'm stressing. Like we're like hoping that people don't show because we're like it's way too big.
Just get a laptop and I'll like Skype in.
Skype in, say what's up. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Like,
so
what's
up, Vegas?
What's up in Vegas? Right. Oh, boy's getting married. Can someone mute him?
Oh my god. But yeah, so got that going on. So I'm gonna try to get the DC stuff.
That's funny.
It takes two black guys to think that white people can have black hair, but that's all right.
No, it's funny because you already have gray hair. That's the joke. So it's gonna go black instead of gray.
He said back black. You want to put it back up?
Well, fucking shit. I missed that part. It's not so clever anymore then.
But yeah, so I'm gonna try to get to stuff because I really want to watch Long Halloween. I'm not gonna lie, but I just don't have. I couldn't plan a fucking thing. Like literally this weekend, I had to make a surprise trip down to College Station where my cousin is because I needed him to try on his suit for the wedding because no one's suits have fit. And so it's like we have to get them to try it on so they can figure out what doesn't fit and order new stuff, and we're running out of time.
COVID got people's weights all over the place.
Well, no, it's literally what it has turned out to be is anyone that went to the place I'm getting my tuxes through and got sized is wrong. And so it's like the people that are making the tuxes have a different chart for what inches are. And so everything's been too small where like I haven't gained, I'm skinny as, oh shit, I look like Timothy Chalamet. And I go get my fucking pants. When I tell you there was this much space, I couldn't even get them close to buttoning. And I was like, I have not gained this much weight. And the girl was like, God dang. She's like, no, it's not you. She's like, we'll get you better pay. Like, we'll get them going. Like, we'll get them overnighted and like whatever. And she was like pissed at them. So, but it's been so stressful. So I'm trying. Believe me when I say I'm trying. But yeah. What about you? What you got besides getting a couch?
Huh?
What you got coming up?
Oh, got you. Not the well. It was, I was actually thinking about starting back everything YouTube up because I have like my fucking couch and setup and all that.
Sure.
So I was gonna start watching shit, doing shit, and whatever. Because so many seasons I want to start here, like on the channel and all that, and just kind of dive back into that.
Hell yeah.
But it's gonna be postponed another fucking week because I'm like, I'm gonna do all that, start on my TikTok, like everything. But I was like, fuck, like, can I get
do it anyway? Start it anyway.
I'm gonna start the TikToks and stuff anyway, but the YouTube and all that, I need to be comfortable not sitting there watching shows on a fucking
That's true.
sucky ass.
Just go get like one
thing.
lawn chair and just
right,
right. The
probably,
bachelor pad, like true look. That's just TV and lawn chair.
bro. There's literally in my fucking living room. There's literally just a TV and a entertainment stand on it.
That's so
That is it.
Like, where do you eat? Oh, you have a table
The
now.
floor. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but I haven't put the table up yet because I want to
Okay.
put them both together,
Gotcha.
just so I'm not trying
How
to move
funny.
a table or trying to do all that shit. Put the
Yeah.
couch together.
And that's true too. When it comes to what else I want to watch on Patreon, I think I'm going to watch the first season of True Detective because apparently that's the fucking shit. And so I think I'm going to dive into that because it's McConaughey and Woody Harrelson together.
Fucking love Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool and gang. Well, y'all know where to find that man. Make sure you go support, like his channel. Go subscribe Patreon? Is that what it is? Subscribe to Patreon?
Sure.
Whatever it is.
I think that's correct.
Yeah.
Become a patron.
Patreon. Yeah, become a patron. There you go. And you can find me on all social media up top. You know, John Knight __ on all forms of social media. If you're watching this, you know where to find me. So make sure. I know you and your damn beanbags. I know. You fucking hippie. I'm gonna get there. I got it. You know where to find me at Night Entertainment Network. And again, we will see y'all back here next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is anything dropping that's big between here and then? Like no movies or nothing, right?
No, probably nothing. It'll be a slow week, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think so. But we'll see. But anyway, we'll see y'all there.
Maybe
regardless.
Spider-Man trailer because Eternals is the next week. So
that's true because it was supposed to come out yesterday? They thought, or 2 days ago,
right? But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, whatever. It's your boy Knight,
and I'm Logan,
and we'll see y'all in the cave. Peace.
Later, guys.